still, hey, I'm still alive. Okay? It's like the scene at the end of Revenge of the Sith, and you guys are the Emperor, and it's like you come over and he's still alive. He's still alive. Yeah, that's me. What's up? How you guys doing? Okay, so yeah, I mean, I guess the first thing we can do, we can get some gambling going on. We'll get some gambling going on. First thing that I just want to say is I want to apologize about missing on Friday. And I know I've missed a good bit of streams lately, and I feel bad about that. But I guess the only way that I can really explain it is I was just so completely and totally burnt out. Like, I was just incredibly burnt out. So I know that might seem weird. And I know there was even like a big discussion that was started over the weekend by like Hassan talking about content creation and how it's hard. And there was all these, it was so weird because I was, yeah, exactly, Vince. So it was so interesting to me to be like completely and totally fucking burned out and just need to take a little break. And then I look online and I see this big conversation being had. And basically a lot of people, like I saw a bunch of you guys, literally you guys, were commenting on threads of that. And you're like, streamers don't do anything. They have the easiest job in the world, man. Fuck these streamers. And I'm just sitting there on Friday, like totally burnt out, just like this. Like getting all upset about it. But in all seriousness, like, here's the thing. Streaming and YouTube is definitely not as hard as most regular jobs. And I think most people that just have common sense can understand that. I've been on both sides of it, right? So I was I've actually worked a ton of different jobs, but most of the jobs I had, I was a server. I would wait tables, basically. And I did that for like 12 years. And it is a completely, totally different soul-sucking experience to have that kind of a situation or that kind of a job. You know, your boss, it's so crazy. It's so crazy to think about this sort of stuff. But like for most people in their lives, their boss is like the most tyrannical force like in their existence. You know, you have to do certain things to appeal to the boss. The boss has control of whether you can do certain things, even things you want to do for fun. It's just like really crazy, super weird experience, okay? And I've definitely been on that side of it. And that shit sucks, dude. There's no way around it. This stuff, doing this, so much easier, so much better, so much more rewarding, okay? So, I don't want to sit here and say that I have it super hard compared to a lot of you, or that I have it super hard even compared to old Josh, who had to wait tables and was honestly doing a lot of that and also doing the YouTube stuff. But I will just say that, you know, content creation and YouTube specifically, it has this thing where it really taps your social battery. And I do think that is an experience that maybe not every job has. And there is this kind of thing where when you clock out, you kind of just go and you can, you know, enjoy yourselves. And you don't necessarily always get that with YouTube. And YouTube has a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes that's very stressful. So, like, I'll give you an example. I'll give you just one little example. And I don't want to linger on this point because technically I don't think I can, because I might be taking legal action here, okay? But there is currently a company, and I've kind of talked about this before, but there's currently a company out there that is, in my opinion, trying to extort YouTubers. And this company is basically giving copyright strikes to YouTubers and then trying to get them to pay in order to remove the copyright strikes. If you get 3 copyright strikes on a channel, your channel's gone, deleted forever, okay? And just as like one little example to share with you, we have 2 on the main channel. The main channel is literally in danger of being deleted. And in all seriousness, that might happen. That literally might happen, where this company might strike the channel again and delete the channel. Now, if that happens, of course, I will rally the troops. I will make a big fucking stink of it on social media, and we will go to court. And I will sue this company, and we'll try to get the channel reinstated. Okay? That's just one little thing that is going on behind the scenes that's happening. And without getting too far into the weeds on that, it's because the copyright system on YouTube allows for people to do this sort of thing and take advantage of people. Okay? So you've heard about these sort of things, but let me just explain. So, that's kind of one of the differences between, I would just argue, entrepreneurship over having like a regular job or whatever. And it's just one of the many things that is stressful to YouTube creators, on top of trying to figure out how to make good content, grow the channels, be there present for the community, et cetera, et cetera. Me, myself, like, I've also been working a lot on comics. So I've just been working so much. It's either, grind on comics and try to figure that stuff out, or it's like grind on video, or it's dealing with, stupid legal situations and bullcrap like that. Okay? So basically, like, all I really wanted to say was, man, it just kind of all came to a head last week, and I just needed a little break. Okay? So I took a break. I relaxed as much as I could. I still worked a little bit, because you can't really stop. That's another thing that's weird about doing YouTube and content. Is you can't technically stop, but we did sort of slow down. I try to just give my brain a little bit of a rest and a little bit of a break. And honestly, I'm feeling a lot better. I'm feeling stronger, and I'm excited to do this stream for you today. We're going to have a longer stream. And there's a lot of little things that I want to do in the stream. I actually have a really, really fun idea for at least part of the stream. I want to react to a couple of different videos out there. And we're going to have a good time today. We also are working on stuff for the main channel, working on Unity stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on. So, we soldier forward, and we're going to keep it going. But I wanted to, like, number one, kind of apologize. And number two, just kind of explain what was going on. I'm trying to get to a place where I can just kind of handle all this stuff a little bit better. I tend to just work. And I definitely think you need to be able to take breaks. In fact, if you would humor me, chat, I'd like to tell you a story that'll illustrate this point really well. Okay? If you would humor me. And you know what? We'll put the gambling on, but we're only putting it on for like 40 minutes or an hour. Let me get this pulled up for you guys. I'll get you guys some gambling. Get this going on for you. Let me offer you a kind of interesting story, and I think this will really kind of help pull this whole idea together for you guys here, okay? And Ben, hey, thanks for the 10 spot, man. I appreciate that. I'll go back over that when we do Q&A later, okay? I'll tell you a story about 2 lumberjacks, okay? And, I like my flannels. I've chopped a tree or two, so in some ways I'm a lumberjack. So I got the authority to be able to tell you this story. Okay. 2 lumberjacks. They both arrive at work at the same time every day. They both work the same amount of hours every day. Except for one difference. The second lumberjack disappears for an hour a day every day and then comes back to work. And yet, the second lumberjack cuts more wood every single day. And at one point, the first lumberjack gets super triggered by this, super upset, and he says, "Bro, what the hell? We both arrive at work at the same time. We both cut the same. We work the same amount of hours, and every day your ass disappears for an hour, and you come back, and yet you cut more wood than me every single day." He's like, "This is bullcrap. What are you doing? Where are you going when you leave?" Yeah, somebody in chat got it. The guy says, "Oh, well, I go home and I sharpen my axe." Yeah. Meaning, working hard and working through it is not always the solution. You need your tools to be sharp. And in the case of an entrepreneur and in the case of a content creator, your greatest tool is your mind. So this is one of those things that's tough for me because I think the natural inclination is just work. And I'm sort of like a workaholic. And I feel like if I'm working, I'm progressing. So there's not as much anxiety. But at the end of the day, you really do need to take that break and sharpen those tools. Okay? And that is kind of what I did this weekend. I just kind of sharpened the mind. And how did I do that? Well, I chilled out, watched some stuff, played some Helldivers too. That shit was awesome. And just generally had a good time. It kind of rebuilt, where I was feeling and how I was feeling. So I'm feeling much better today. I do want to say a couple of show notes kind of things. First of all, look at this cool thing, man. Elisa got me this. It's the Solo Leveling. The manga. Dude, I can't wait. Can't wait to dig into that. But that's not really for you guys. It just happened to be in the bag with the $200 GameStop gift card. And later today on stream, we're going to be doing a drawing to give away that $200 GameStop gift card to one of you. If you are a member here on YouTube, you're automatically entered to win. If you are a member over on Twitch, you are automatically entered to win. And guess what? You can do both and be entered twice to win the $200 GameStop gift card. And let's not forget about the Bezos bucks. If you have Amazon Prime, you have the ability to become a member over on Twitch for no additional cost. It's free. You take some of Jeff Bezos' money and you give it to the Den of Nerds, which might come in helpful if they delete our channel and we have to go to court. But in all seriousness, we would love for you to support the channel. You get a bunch of cool benefits if you are a member, including access to the members only live streams. And on that note, you have homework. I hope you haven't been like me and been neglecting your homework. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m., we are going to be doing comic book club, and we're going to be reading, I believe it's all the way to 588. Yeah, whatever Fantastic Four comic we left off last time, which I think was 567? Yeah, all the way to 588 of the Fantastic Four. Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four. If you didn't do the reading last time and you kind of want to just catch up totally with where we're at, you'd have to read When Hickman Starts, which I believe is 570. All the way to 588. So you have 18 issues. So I'd probably get on that, and I'm going to be reading that a little bit later today as well. And tomorrow night we will be breaking that down. Another thing that we're going to do this week is we're launching the Unity Second Chance Kickstarter. Come hell or high water, we are launching that Kickstarter. Probably going to launch it on Friday. Maybe we'll launch it sooner, but at the very least we'll be launching that by Friday. So you will have your chance to get a hold of Unity Chapter 1. Also, pre-order the 5-chapter Volume 1 graphic novel, which will be shipping later this year. I'm pretty excited. We, I kind of had some conversations with Stan last week, and I was checking in on how he's doing with the illustrations and whatnot. He has 8 pages left in Chapter 2 currently. I did, Trev. I did. I actually just sent the issue to Rob this morning. So one of the things I did was, a lot of you guys have read Chapter 1. There were like 3 pages that had errors on them. And so I went in and I replaced those errors. I have a new version of Chapter 1, which actually has the cover on it too, which I think is kind of cool. Yeah, so I'm actually going to be sending out emails later today and getting that to everybody on the Kickstarter also. But yeah, I put that together and finally got him a copy of that. Wait, your gambling's not on? Gambling? Gambling? Boom, there you go. And you know what? Let's drop some coinage. Let's drop like 10K to everybody. Boom. 10,000 nerd coin. There you go. So yeah, we'll be doing comic book club tomorrow night. Second chance of the Unity Kickstarter, probably going to drop Friday, and then we're going to do a Diamond Lounge stream as well. So we'll do a Diamond Lounge stream this Friday night. And other than that, I think that's all the sort of show notes stuff that's out there. And now we can kind of get into it. Now, let me explain. The cover, the thumbnail, and title of this video, it's not clickbait. Because like I said, I was taking a break. You know, I was kind of letting the mental chill over the weekend. And I think it was yesterday I started to get back into like looking at the YouTube stuff, doing some YouTube work. And I saw some comments. There's actually just one comment. And it triggered me so badly that it made me write the script and come up with the idea for this stream, what we're going to talk about today. Okay? And the comment was, can anybody guess what it was? I was literally like chilling, feeling so good after kind of taking the weekend, you know? And then I come back in and I look at some stuff on the main channel. And I saw one comment, and it triggered me so goddamn much that I was like, bro, I can't believe it's come to this. I can't believe I'm going to have to do this, but I'm going to have to educate these mother truckers. What do you think it was? What do you think the comment was? If it was about Nerd Theory, I'm leaving. No, it wasn't about Nerd Theory. No. There's always one each. James Gunn? No, it wasn't about James Gunn. It was not a James Gunn comment. Snorehammer? No, but now I'm triggered. Oh my God. No. Okay, I'll explain what it is. Batman being a fascist? Close. Deadpool and Wolverine sucks comment? No. Okay. Woke. No, it wasn't anything about woke. It's your job. You know, that one always does it for me. No, man. Here's what it was. And also, Justin, welcome back, brother. Here's what it was. I think I sort of offhandedly mentioned in the last video I did that Kang is a D-tier Marvel villain. Okay? And I saw some comments, some freaking butthole person was like, bro, the fact that you think Kang is a D-tier Marvel villain just shows you know nothing about Marvel. It triggered me so badly that on today's show, we're going to be doing a Marvel villain tier list. And I'm going to explain the criteria by which we'll be judging each Marvel villain. And we will be explaining the difference between S-tier Marvel villains, A-tier Marvel villains, B-tier Marvel villains, C-tier Marvel villains, and then the stinky D-tier Marvel villain that is Kang the Conqueror. And we're going to be using science, maybe a little magic, arithmetic, cosine, tangent, poles. We're going to be using AI. We're going to be using the Wikipedias. We're going to be talking to people on the street. We're going to be conducting surveys. We're going to be launching satellites. We're going to be doing it all. And I'm going to prove why Kang is a D tier, totally useless. Just fucking forget about Kang because he sucks. Kind of a villain. So welcome to the stream, you freaking buttholes. That's what we're going to be doing today. I'm actually pretty excited about it. It's going to be cool. There is some other news, though. There's some, like, smaller, lighter news that we could talk about. I also wanted to watch. There was a very interesting video that I saw, Screen Crush, do Ryan Airy, about how Madam Web could be so bad that Marvel could sue Sony to get the Spider-Man rights back. And I got to tell you, that's kind of a fun idea. So I want to watch that video, react to it together with you guys, and see if maybe there's a case here that Marvel could sue Sony. Wouldn't that be fucking amazing? And I think it's just such a fun idea for a video, you know? And look, new year, new me. I'm trying not to be as petty and, you know, complain about certain folks online. But I will say, I saw one of these stinky Anon Scooper accounts trying to make fun of that video by Ryan Airy. And I was like, yeah, imagine, like, coming up with an idea, scripting it out, editing, performing, and, like, doing something of value in creating something. Imagine doing something like that as opposed to just having sources and information and putting it behind a paywall. Like, imagine that. Imagine, like, building something, entertaining people, actually having to put effort into the work that you make. Yeah, that's crazy. So I want to talk about that. I want to react to that video because I'm sure it's really good and I'm sure it's really fun. So that's kind of what's on the agenda for today. Maybe there'll be some other stuff that we can fit in here as well. I'm kind of open to it. Hell, I'd even be down to do a little Hell Divers. Spread a little bit of freedom with you guys. Anybody in here playing Hell Divers? That shit's cool, man. I had a lot of fun with that game. It's pretty fun. Got it on Friday. I wasn't sure if I was going to get it because, you know, I was really concerned about the servers. Apparently, there's a lot of crashing and shit like that, right? I'm playing right now while watching. Your camera will die before it? No, the camera's good. The camera is like that cord, that elusive cord that I lost, I found, and it's good. So this camera should last forever. Like, we could stream all week straight. We could just stream from now until the end of Friday. If we wanted to. You know, I don't know if I'd be able to handle that. But we could do that. Technically speaking, through the technology, I think we would be good. Yeah! Okay, any last or any other like questions, any other things that we should talk about? I kind of wanted to just touch on a couple of smaller news stories. Just a little bit here and there. I don't really think there's too much going on. And then we can get into the tier list because that's going to be really fun and super interactive too. Because I want to make sure that we have a lot of villains on there and a lot of villains that like you guys want. So if you take a look at the list and you're like, oh, you need this villain on there, we can add it. And we can do all that sort of stuff. You know what? Like, honestly, there's really nothing going on. I mean, there's a little bit of like weirdness with the Silver Surfer project, but I think it's kind of a nothing burger. I think we should probably just get into the tier list. And then we could watch some videos. What do you guys think? Oh, Dune? Yeah, we could talk about Dune. Should we start there, actually? Remember when I tried to be like, dude, Dune 2, everybody's talking about it and it's blowing up. And then there was like 3 people talking about it. Now there's actually people losing their mind over Dune. We could do a version of that, except that it'll be like good this time. Wouldn't that be fun? Okay, so Dune 2. Does it? Hey, by the way, chat, does it come out this week? You said it would make $1 billion. Wait, what? What would make $1 billion? Wait, what? Dune? Did I say Dune 2 would make $1 billion? I don't think I said that. If that's some funny way to get to the Dungeons and Dragons. God damn it. It comes out this week? Incredible. Okay, cool. So, I liked the first Dune. I liked it a lot, but it kind of underperformed. I mean, there's a little bit of like pandy stuff going on there. But Dune 2, I have heard, is a freaking masterpiece. A lot of people gassing this movie up. I'm pretty excited for it. And, man, it's just, as nerds, it's good when good science fiction is crushing it. You know what I mean? It kind of raises the tide, floats all the boats up, can also give us an example, a sort of roadmap for other franchises like Star Wars to perhaps consider. And this kind of competition, this kind of stuff is really, really good. I mean, Dune, like I said, I like the first movie. Let's just read some of these reviews, man, because people are like really losing their minds. Like, really losing their minds. So Robert Vibrant here says, Dune 2 is the realization of everything I've ever dreamed genre filmmaking can accomplish. Not since I was 10 years old and witnessed Star Wars during its opening weekend have I felt this way about a motion picture. Proof positive that filmmakers can still conjure up magic. God damn! Holy cow! That's some freaking high praise. My God, that's crazy. Let's see here. Rob Liefeld says, Dune 2 is elite level filmmaking. I went in with the highest expectations, and this movie crushed from start to finish. Denis Villeneuve, did I say his name right? Has firmly separated himself from every other living filmmaker. He's operating on another level of scale and scope than everyone else. Every shot in the sequence is stunning. The staging, camera movement, the costume, set design, each frame is inspiring. Timothy reaches new heights with his performance. Butler is bonkers nuts in the best way. Zendaya provides emotional depth and resonance. Rebecca Ferguson is sinister and quietly the scariest character in the entire film. Bardem delivers the conviction his character requires, and Brolin arrives to bring balance. He's so great. Young pup. This is a multiple repeat viewing. Damn, dude. Again, super high praise. We do this a lot for different movies, when they're coming out. And I don't know, man. I haven't seen a reaction like that in quite some time. Let's see here. Cade Onder says, Dune Part 2 is a brilliant sum of a director's uncompromised, unapologetic vision of a grand galactic soap opera. It's like someone put cameras down on a real war happening on a different planet. The scale of this film is profound and epic. Unbelievable. What an achievement. Hot damn! Again, super high praise. Let's see who else here. I think we actually went over what she said already. Uh-oh, there's a couple of like spoilery type things that we're going to try to avoid here. Okay, check this out. Dune Part 2 is a landmark achievement, a beautiful, emotional, heart-stopping experience that contains Oscar-worthy performances across the board. Not a single weak link. Denis Villeneuve, did I say his name right? Is the master and has raised the bar for what modern sci-fi epics can achieve. Studios are always searching for the next Empire Strikes Back, and Dune Part 2 is that movie for this generation. I have heard Denis, that's what I said. That is literally what I said. You didn't finish it? Denis Villeneuve. You're just trying to trigger us? You're trying to trigger us. I've heard this quite a bit, man. The Empire Strikes Back comparison, and that's awesome. I can't wait to see Christopher Walken as the Emperor as well. I think that's pretty cool. Give me 1 second. I got to actually adjust that a little bit. So that's pretty cool, man. Empire Strikes Back. Are y'all seeing Dune 2 this weekend? Throw a 1 in the chat if you're going to see it this weekend. I got to see it now. I'm actually trying to figure out, you know what? I've got to figure out like the sitter and the situation so that maybe Elisa and I can both go out and see it together. But yeah, oh shit, look at that. Lot of 1s, man. Lot of ones. You see it on Wednesday? Oh, that's really cool. Seen it yesterday? Oh, you're lucky, bro. You're lucky. Got tickets for the 29th. That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, kind of out of nowhere. It's everything you thought Rebel Moon would be. I don't know what you're talking about. And for the sake of this clip, I'm not going to get triggered. God damn it. But yeah, that's freaking awesome, dude. It is kind of crazy that people are this hyped up for it. And, you know, we live in sort of this day and age where, like, a lot of the conversations we have here on stream and a lot of the conversations we have sort of surrounding pop culture right now is like, oh, man, Hollywood. Oh, man, Disney. Like, all these things are kind of lacking. And Dune 2 may actually be it. It may be an example of truly great storytelling, truly great filmmaking, and kind of reminding people why they love this stuff and why they love going to the theater for this stuff. If this movie blows up, which I wonder what the tracking is. What's the box office tracking on the film? Because the box office this year is just not done very well. You know, there's definitely a sort of Madam Web kind of thing going on, but a lot of weekends, pretty tough. It would be awesome if this thing absolutely blew up, man. Like crushed. It's tracking for $2 billion. I'm going to go ahead and say I don't believe that, man. I'm going to go ahead and say I don't think that's happening. But wow, wouldn't that be crazy? You know, I think at this point, all it has to do is outgross like all of the Marvel movies that recently happened, which I think Multiverse of Madness is probably the highest other than Spider-Man, right? I think it was like, what, 950? So if this thing cracks $1 billion, that would be super impressive. You know, like, these are the kind of things that you look back at and you kind of get a sense of where audiences were at, how things were ebbing and flowing. I mean, there was a time where, you know, Marvel was just felt like they couldn't miss. Disney itself, I think, had, what, $9 billion grossing movies in 2019. And of course now, you know, they're not anywhere near that. But yeah, Dune like blew up. I guess my question though is, what happens if this movie really, really blows up? I mean, besides the fact that the next Dune movie would be highly anticipated, and as far as we understand it, Denis Villeneuve. Denis is Denny, like I said, is definitely doing at least the third one, right? And I think these are what, the first 3 books, or is this just 2 books? I'm not 100% on that, but I know he's gonna at least do a third one. And then I heard he doesn't really want to do any more after that. But I guess, like, as fans, right? And a lot of us are here via our love of like Marvel and Star Wars, or at least initially, that's what kind of brought the community together. I wonder, like, what would you guys even want? Like, what do you want out of this franchise? Like, let's say Dune 2 is incredible. Obviously, it would be great to experience that movie over and over again. Obviously, it would be fantastic to have a trilogy of movies that really stood on their own, legendary stuff that we would be talking about for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years, right? But what happens then? Like, how does it go from there, right? I think maybe 4 years ago we would have said, well, we need, you know, video games. We need maybe a card game, RPG. We need Disney Plus shows. We need a streaming show and all this sort of stuff. But in some ways, that sort of overexposure and the way that a lot of corporations and studios leverage IP, it kind of feels a little bit gross. You know what I mean? So I find it interesting, like, what do you even want? Like, is it good enough? Is it just okay if they're just good movies? Like, is that just what it is? I know they're doing some game, maybe even like a MMO, right? There is a show announced. Ooh, okay. What's the show about? Don't the books go to shit after the first few? Well, I know they get really, really weird. I don't really know if they sort of go to shit. I mean, I'm not a Dune person. If Mas is in here, she's the person to ask about that. You know what I mean? Progressively worse for the most part. The Witches, I believe. Okay. What are they called? Like the Ben Gesserit or whatever? Benny Gesserit, is that what it is? Yeah. Really interesting. I mean, that could be really cool. Yeah, that could be interesting. I mean, it spans a long, long time because my understanding is when Paul's son becomes the God Emperor, I think like a massive amount of time passes from like, it kind of makes it almost seem like the first couple of books are like this much of the story, and then there's like this like huge amount of story that happens after that. And that, to me, I'm not like a super big Dune guy, like I said, but that stuff has always been really interesting to me. The idea of the Golden Path, the idea of him becoming this weird worm emperor, and the idea of him being this absolute ruthless emperor, this a total authoritarian figure, but it being for a good purpose. And the idea of the Golden Path, as far as I understand it, is he's literally trying to like breed out all of the flaws of humanity. Yeah, sorry. I mean, I don't want to, I guess that is kind of spoilery or whatever, but it's like, that's where I think it goes after that, right? Which to me, like, I want to see all of that shit, bro. Like, that sounds incredible, you know? Like, maybe it's not as, Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet, like, you know, and he's becoming kind of a bad guy, but she believes in him. Like, maybe it's a little bit different than that. Like, maybe it's the weirdest shit possible. But I'd love for it to go all the way, man. I feel like we need the whole story. And, you know, just like Star Wars, I suppose there are many different points in time and many different things that they could do with the Dune franchise. So, for instance, you could even show a series that talks about the rise of House Atreides and how that house became what it was. You know, you could talk about the rise of the current emperor. You know, wasn't there a time in Dune where they had to fight against robots? And basically, just like in 40K, like they had all this technology with all of these super advanced AI robot machine things, and then they turn against humanity, and there's this whole conflict, and that's why they don't really have AI anymore, right? So there's a number of different parts of the lore or the canon that they could explore. But yeah, I guess just having the movies be like really, really good just raises the profile of the IP. But that was something I was interested in, is like, what would you guys even want? Right? Again, because like the Star Wars thing and the Marvel thing, like I would argue they kind of, especially in the last couple of years, did it the wrong way. Like Mark Ruffalo recently made some comments about how like the MCU lost its mystique once they started doing Disney Plus shows. And I think that's absolutely true. But that's not to say that just doing a spin-off show couldn't be successful, right? But I feel like you would want it to be something more like House of the Dragons, something like HBO quality, something really pristine that just feels like a continuation of the enjoyment and the fun that you have with the IP in the movies, right? So yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess I'd be curious. Like, do you see yourself going out and buying Dune merchandise? Like, if this movie is dope, right? If this movie is like one of the best you've ever seen, like, are you going to go out and get some Dune merchandise? I mean, I could see us maybe getting the books and reading the books more. You're going to get action figures. You're going to get swag, like some shirts, some hats and stuff like that. Buy the popcorn bucket. Yeah. Merch? Nope. Yeah, the popcorn tin? Okay. Yeah. Maybe a poster? Yeah. You kind of see you see what I'm saying? Like, you see where I'm coming from? Like, a lot of the time we talk about these franchises and like everybody wants the next Star Wars. Everybody wants the next Game of Thrones. And I think what that means is, I mean, Game of Thrones was the biggest show in the world. It was massive. And even beyond that show, which ended so poorly and was so crazy, you still have Game of Thrones. It's so massive. I mean, the amount of merchandise that people have of Game of Thrones, I think it far exceeds a lot of other television shows. In fact, that's kind of an interesting question. Like, do you guys have Game of Thrones merch? Like, yes or no? Do you personally have some Game of Thrones merch in the house? What do you think? Maybe a sword. Maybe the pin that the hand wears. Of course, no, nope, no. A lot of no's, actually. I've never seen that show. What? Do socks count? Yes, socks count, yeah. Yeah. I have sweatpants? Interesting. Yeah, that's crazy. Huh. Yeah. Kind of interesting. Now, I wonder, do you guys have any Marvel merch? Do you have any Marvel merch? Yes or no? Put it into the chat. Yes. Yep. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So I think it's not to say, like, look, maybe Dune can just come out, be an incredible movie. You know, the cinephiles among us are going to be like, oh, it's so fucking good. Like, God damn it, I just love it so much. And you just watch it over and over again. It's one of your favorite trilogies to put on. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's fine. But as somebody that kind of studies pop culture from the business side too, I think about this sometimes where, you know, we talk about Marvel a lot. And I think, you know, there's this whole thing of like, oh, the MCU's dead, or like Marvel's so bad. It's not going to be like it was with Endgame. But I would argue that just the sort of breadth that which Marvel touches different people's lives in different ways through merchandise, comic books, video games. I would argue Marvel is still one of the strongest brands on the planet, and it still has so many people engaging with that brand at different levels, right? Like Marvel's an incredibly successful brand and IP. It's crazy. Like, think about how many people buy Spider-Man shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty crazy. And I just think about what is the goal, or how do we think the studio or the people that own this IP or that have the license to it, how will that change with this movie? And with this movie being very, very highly anticipated, people are very excited about it. I imagine it's going to do really well, right? But I don't know how many like Dune Lego sets, you know? I don't know how many like Dune purses and watches and stuff like that is actually going to happen. So it's interesting. It's just kind of a fascinating moment here. Maybe we don't need any of that shit. I don't know. But Dune 2 this week, people seem to like it. Let's go. I'm excited. I'm going to check it out on Thursday. Faux show. Okay, is there anything else? Anything else you guys want to talk about before we get into the tier list? Anything else? Anything? Bueller? Anything, chat? Why does my music keep stopping? That's a little annoying. Come on, man. Okay, there we go. Talk about Star Wars? Bad Batch? Oh, yeah, we didn't really get to talk about Bad Batch because I took Friday off. I really liked the Bad Batch, man. I really liked the first 3 episodes. I think Bad Batch, just in those first 3 episodes, like when I was watching it, I kind of had this feeling of, man, there's like a lot of craftsmanship that's put into this show that I just don't feel is in even some of the live action stuff. And I really enjoyed the first couple of episodes of Bad Batch, man. And then I look out online and I don't know, I see, some mixed responses and yeah, I don't know, but I definitely liked it, man. I definitely liked those episodes. I'm excited to watch the next one. I'm going to finish this season. I feel like it's strong. It's like really cool character stuff, so it's building a lot. I saw a lot of praise for the individual writers, so this is not written by Dave, which is kind of interesting. And the two people that are writing and directing, I forget their names. Let me see if I can look it up right now. But yeah, dude, I think they're really doing some great work there. And I think it kind of, it almost has a little bit of, dare I say it, an Andor-esque vibe to it, with just the sort of seriousness of it and the grittiness of it. But it feels like it's way more like actually Star Wars than Andor was. And yeah, no, I just really like it. It kind of just reminded me of all the things that I tend to like about Star Wars and the animated stuff themselves. Like, I feel like they're killing it. Man. And, you know, there's also, of course, the connection to the sequels, the connections to Project Necromancer, and the whole thing with Palpatine, which I'm sure not everybody loves. But for me, I mean, like, I've always just said, you know, even though I don't enjoy the sequels, the story itself, I can accept it as canon. And I'm actually like, it's actually a little bit easier for me if I don't really think about the movies and I just think about the story. Do you know what I mean? Like, the story of all of that happening definitely happened. And they're creating all those clones and whatnot. And you know what it kind of means without, I mean, I guess we're going to have to be a little bit spoilery here. But does that technically mean that Omega is Rey's grandma? Read my pitch. So many clones. What's the pitch? Yeah, does that mean that Omega is Rey's grandma? Is that how that works? Yeah, I'm not really sure where this is going. But yeah, so like Omega's the key to creating a vessel for Palpatine that still has the same midichlorian count. That's kind of crazy, man. Griff says, why do you think some fans disregard Star Wars animation? Well, you know, it's kind of interesting. I just had a conversation. So I got a new barber, and I was talking to him last week about this. And he's like a big Star Wars fan, but he hasn't watched like any of the animated stuff. He watches all the live action stuff, but he hasn't watched the animated stuff. I think there's a little bit of a disconnect where fans are like, it's animation, so it's cartoons, therefore it's not as good. And I think that just exists. It kind of exists more in the West than in the East with manga and anime. Like a lot of Eastern audiences, they just kind of accept that form. It's, you know, just they accept it. And even I think people my age and younger accept it as well. We've grown up with some great cartooning for adults. If it's South Park or even Archer, Bob's Burgers, these kind of shows, right? Animation for adults. And a lot of us really like anime and manga too. So it could just be a sort of generational thing, a little bit of a culture thing. But yeah, I do think it's changing a little bit. I mean, with shows like Invincible, you have the potential to really have a, you know, more adult, I guess, higher levels of shows, like more intellectual, that are animated. So I like the Bad Batch, and I think what do we got? It's the last season, and they're gonna wrap some stuff up, probably connect some stuff to, you know, Rise of Skywalker and the sequels and all of that sort of stuff. I also kind of low key feel like they're trying to tell us that Palpatine's gonna come back again. And on the one level, I'm like, I don't know. But on the other level, I'm like, well, I mean, you know, they kind of already ruined that, and he already came back. And in a sense, Palpatine is something like the devil. So maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing if Palpatine came back again. What do you guys think? Like, would you freak out if, like, the next Rey movie or the next trilogy or whatever, they're talking about Palpatine returning again? Yeah. I don't know. Guess we'll see. I would walk out. I don't know if I would walk out. I would want it to be handled better than it was before. I mean, the problem with Rise isn't the fact that he comes back. It's that he comes back and the plan makes zero sense. He says some really weird shit. It's all left super ambiguous. And it ultimately just feels super unfulfilled. So you can't do like a shittier version of Return of the Jedi with a character that's less popular and have it feel satisfying. You know what I mean? But that's not to say that you couldn't do something with that character in the future with different characters, a different scenario that could still be really cool. You know? So, yeah, third time's the charm. Exactly. So maybe they would be able to bring him back and that would be all cool. But bottom line for me, I like Bad Batch. Really enjoyed the first 3 episodes and really looking forward to more. And I like these writers, man, and I hope they get more work over there, and I hope that they're kind of built up because eventually, even the people like Filoni and Favreau, like eventually, they're not going to be doing it anymore. So we need another generation of creators, and it's good to build these people, like the Kiners, man. Like I love what they do with the music. So it's incredible to have them there and become a part of Star Wars and just solidify themselves further and further. So I think that's great. I think that's good for Star Wars. I like the Bad Batch, man. Yeah, and then I Mike was talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie and the tax credits in Los Angeles. I mean, to me, that's not really that big of a deal. They're getting the big tax credit to film in California. That doesn't really move the needle for me. I'm kind of waiting, when it comes to the Mandalorian and Grogu, I'm kind of sitting back and waiting. I need some updates of substance. Everything so far has me kind of shaky on it. You know what I mean? And even today, I saw some stuff where it's still unclear if Pedro will even be in that movie. Now, I would imagine his voice will be in the movie. Kind of has to be. Right? Unless they're like recast him for the movie. Can you fucking imagine? That would be crazy. So, yeah, you would assume Pedro would be in there. But Pedro's also Reed Richards. And by the way, I have a big video coming out about Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four movie. There's some new leaks and rumors out there that actually make me think that movie's going to be way darker than people think. And they're going to do something really crazy with Reed Richards. So I think that video will either be out later today or tomorrow. And yeah, I'm excited. And I think Reed is going to kind of be a big deal for Marvel, right? Feige wanted somebody high profile for that role. He got Pedro. Pedro and they're going to be in Secret Wars. I think they signed a multi-picture deal. And in the article last week that Kendall and some other people decided was completely irrelevant because some of the information had been said before. In that article, they kind of talk about how Feige's looking for the Fantastic Four to kind of be the new faces of the MCU. Which is weird. If you think about that, that is kind of weird, right? Because it's like, wait a minute, did they just realize Chris Evans and RDJ are no longer in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? It feels like they should have jumped on this a lot sooner. But it's also weird because they don't mention Spider-Man, right? So they don't mention Spider-Man. And there's been a lot of stories out there suggesting perhaps why. And you got to feel bad for Kevin because I think Spider-Man was his way out of this. But Sony gonna Sony. And it's just unwise to put so much into a character that he doesn't have complete control of. So when it comes to X-Men and Fantastic Four, those are the things that he has complete control of. And I'm kind of getting a feeling that he kind of wants to shift and have people like that become the new faces. So Fantastic Four and your X-Men. Some rumors that even maybe Cavill will be one of the new X-Men, some rumblings that maybe they're going to go X-Men faster than they would have normally and kind of be like, well, forget She-Hulk, forget Captain Marvel, forget Shang-Chi, forget all those people. Let's just talk about the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. I got to say, could actually work. Could actually work, could be a good move for Marvel Studios. And perhaps on that note, we should get into this tier list here, okay? So let me get this kind of set up here. So let me get these in here. And then let's get these ones in here. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, let me show you what's going on here. Let me talk you through this. Let's get into this. Let me explain. Okay. Wait, what? Okay, let me try to shrink this down a little bit so we can talk about this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what is this? Well, this is the tier list of the Marvel villains, okay? And the reason that I have a tier list up here of the Marvel villains is because I made a point in a video that Kang is a D-level Marvel villain. I think maybe an argument could be made for C-level, but either way, he's like a C or a D-level Marvel villain. Which, by the way, chat, do you agree or disagree with my hypothesis that Kang is a D-level villain? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. And so I thought it would be cool to kind of explain the criteria of what I think makes a villain A level, B level, C level, S tier, all that, right? And I want to explain and go through these other villains. And I think once you see what we're talking about, and once you see other villains and you see how they rank against each other, we'll save Kang for last. And by the end of this, you're going to be like, number one, oh shit, Kang is a D-level villain. And number two, you're going to be like, I can't believe Marvel even chose Kang. What the fuck were they even thinking? So that's the point. That's what we're going to be doing here, okay? Now, let me bring up the villains, and then if there's some other villains that you want to add to this tier list, we can actually add some, but let's kind of go through it. So what the villains that I have here, I have the Green Goblin, I have the Red Skull, I have Loki, I have Doctor Doom, I have Thanos, I have Magneto, I have Killmonger, I have Kang, I have the Shadow King, I have Annihilus, I have Carnage, I have the Hobgoblin, I have Apocalypse, I have Mystique, I have the Juggernaut, I've got... Why am I blanking? What's this guy's name again? With Charles and Magneto? Onslaught. I have Onslaught, I've got Dormammu, I've got Sabretooth, I've got Kingpin, I've got Venom, I've got Mr. Sinister, I've got Doc Ock, I've got Omega Red, I've got Galactus, and I have Ultron. So, who are some other villains that you want to add to the list? We could add some lower ones if you want. Like, I see some people saying Batroc. I see people saying the Mole Man. Do you think we should add some of those guys in there too? Because I'm okay with that. Let me get this pulled up. We'll sort of start by getting Mole Man. Oh, jeez. We'll sort of start by doing this. Do you guys really want to add Mole Man to the list? I was kidding about Batroc. Namor. Okay, yeah, now that's a good one. Let's put Namor in there. Should we put Mole Man in there, chat, or no? No? I mean, you know, he'd probably have some room right next to Kang if you really want to, if you really want to, you know, do that. Galactus is in there. Kraven. Okay, let's see here. Victoria Alonso. Okay, Nimrod, sure, but I think once you see the criteria, you'll be like, okay, Nimrod's actually lower. Okay, let's put Namor in there though. Namor, kind of an anti-hero, but let's do it. Namor, Marvel. Let me get a good image of Namor here. There we go. That's a pretty good one. Boom. There he is, Namor. Who else, chat? Who else do you want to be put on here? Annihilus is in there. Crossbones? Null's a good one. We could talk about Null. Let's put Null on there. He's relatively new, but he is pretty damn cool. I won't deny that. Null's a very cool villain. Maybe one of the coolest, sort of more modern villains like created in the last 10 years that people seem to really like. So we get him on there. Who else, chat? Hela and Ultron. Ultron is on there. We could put Hela, though. I'm down to put Hela on here. We'll just do the MCU version of her. Who else, chat? Zemo? Megatron? He's not a Marvel villain. Big Pharma? Not a Marvel villain. Josh, put Apocalypse. Apocalypse is on there. Ronan? I could do Ronan. We could do Ronan. We could do that. Ronan the Accuser. Find a good picture of Ronan. Dun, dun, dun. You know, unfortunately, usually when you go to like search one of these guys on Pinterest and it doesn't sort of pop up right away, it's kind of a bad sign. It actually tends to mean they're not high tier villain, but we'll explain all of that. I'll get Ronan on here. Boom. Anybody else? Anybody else? The high evolutionary absorbing man? I mean, we can. I mean, you're going, I feel like we're kind of, we're going on the lower side here. You're going on the lower side of things here, but that's okay. Let's get the high evolutionary on here. I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. Who else? Who else? Beyond there? Darben. Oh, shit. Coral. Mephisto. Okay, let's do Mephisto. Mephisto's a good one. Mephisto's a pretty good one. It's pretty good, I'm pretty sure. That's a classic Mephisto image right there. Yeah, there it is. Mephisto. Scarlet Witch. I wouldn't count Scarlet Witch as a villain. She's a hero that goes villain. Bullseye. We could put Bullseye in there. We could put Bullseye. We could put Bullseye in here. I'm down. Bullseye's a pretty fun villain. Oh, you know what? I actually just found a better image. Let's go. This image is awesome. Bullseye might surprise you where I think Bullseye would end up, but let me explain the criteria. And in fact, chat, Omega Red is already on there. Yeah. Doc Ock is on there. Carnage is on there. Kilgrave, the Purple Man? I mean, I like the Purple Man, but I mean... Karen? Who's Karen? Who's Karen? James Gunn? Oh, definitely, dude. James Gunn. 100%. You know what's funny? This conversation will have to do with James Gunn. There is something... I actually do want to talk about James Gunn within the breadth of this conversation, but you might be surprised how I bring it up. Jessica? Jessica. I hope Jessica's okay. Guys, I think this is pretty good here. We could add Gore the God Butcher. I think this is pretty good here, though. I think this is a pretty good list here, okay? Especially for the point that I'm trying to make. I think this is pretty good. Let's go. This is a great image of Gore. That's pretty cool. Okay. Now, before I get into explaining the criteria that I'm going to use for this tier list, I'm curious, chat, and I want to know what you guys think. What do you think determines the tier of a Marvel villain? What do you think determines the tier? What do you think? Stakes? Power level and overall threat? Origin story? Power level? Impact on both characters and the Marvel Universe? I like that one. Either popularity and impact. Yes. I think that's kind of where I'm going, yeah. Power, intelligence, determination. Interesting answer. How cool they are. I agree with that. Badassness. I like that one. I agree with stakes. Interesting. Design, motivation, and powers. Ooh, I like that answer. So, I guess I will just explain it to you like this. I am not taking this completely from the world within Marvel Comics. Meaning, it's not the stakes or the motivations or even the power level of a character that I think makes them a good or bad villain. Okay? And, Marvel in and of itself, not only do they have a huge library of comics, like 75 plus years of comic stories, but you also have animated shows, live action shows, you've got movies, you've got video games, you've got board games, you've got strategy games, all sorts of things that happen within the Marvel Universe. Like, allow me to offer up a question to you. You guys know a little game called Marvel vs. Capcom 2? You ever heard of this game? So, in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I would say the most popular Marvel characters were brought in to that game. Right? So doesn't that track? Like, doesn't that make sense? If you're making that game, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I'm going to take you on a ride, Jerry. Wouldn't it make sense? Like, if you're the developers, and by the way, how big is the roster for Marvel vs. Capcom 2? Let's look at this. How big is the roster? It's huge, right? Is this all the characters? Oh my God. Okay, so I'll just name you some of the Marvel characters that are in here. Although I wish I had an image. Because there's that like screen with all of them. Oh shit, is this it? Is this the actual image? Chat, if somebody can find me an image of all of the different characters that are in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, that would be so cute. I think this might be it. But the image quality is so bad. It's so bad. The 56 characters of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Okay, here we go. This will be helpful. Okay. So let's look at this. We got Akuma. We want to focus on the Marvel ones. Damn, Blackheart. That's pretty interesting. We don't have Blackheart on our list at all. Blackheart's a cool villain. Kind of interesting that they chose him, right? Cable. Captain America. Colossus, Cyclops. Doctor Doom. Gambit. Hulk. Iceman. Iron Man. Juggernaut. Magneto, Omega Red, Psylocke, Rogue, Sabretooth, a Sentinel, Shumagorath, which we don't have Shumagorath on here, or Silver Samurai, Spider-Man, Spiral. Oh my God, Spiral's in that game? I didn't even remember that. That's awesome. Storm, Thanos, Venom, War Machine, Wolverine. And so, like, part of what makes a character a higher or lower tier character is not just how popular they are inside of comics, but how popular they are outside of comics, okay? So let me just kind of go through the criteria that I have here listed for what makes a S tier, A tier, B tier. This is the tier, and these are my criteria. First, the criteria for me is iconic status, okay? So I would say A tier or S tier, they're instantly recognizable. That's really important. They have a distinct visual design, motifs, and themes. This can be applied to like the motivation and the stuff, right? So Galactus's motivation to, devour planets. That's an iconic part of his character, but he's also instantly recognizable, right? Has a great design, and that really matters because that's something that translates into different forms of media. And I would say this is all about how immediately recognizable and the idea of being able to instantly like evoke feelings. Okay. So how iconic are they? And this has to do with design, motivations, big stories that they've been a part of. And like, as one example, right? Thanos, very iconic villain. If you were a Marvel Comics fan, you knew who Thanos was before the Avengers and before the MCU and all that sort of stuff. But I think that Thanos has become even more iconic because of what happened in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, they made him into this generation's Darth Vader. They talked about that, and I think they accomplished it. You go out and ask 10 people randomly on the street who Thanos is, and you're going to get a lot of people that know who Thanos is, right? So that's like a measure of their quality, is the iconic status. Now, the next bit of criteria that we're going to use here is their significance or their impact. Now, this can be from canon or non-canon. Okay, so this is about how they leave a mark on the Marvel Universe, major events, storylines, or by affecting the status of other characters. Their actions will lead to lasting change and big impact on it. Okay, so Thanos is one of those characters. Magneto is one of those characters that has made a super big impact within canon, but also, again, outside of canon. How many movies has Magneto been the villain of? How many video games has Magneto been the villain of? How many animated shows and series has Magneto been the villain of? And then the last one is their influence or their legacy. It's kind of similar to the other one, but it's about their lasting impact within the world of Marvel, either in the comics or in the video games or in the movies. And this can be through something they've done in the canon, or it can be through a connection to an iconic character. So like the influence and legacy. You look at a character like Venom, and Venom's influence and legacy being connected to Spider-Man is a super big deal. I mean, the reason Sony made a Venom movie without Spider-Man is because Spider-Man and Venom had become so well known and known together that Sony believed they could do a movie without Spider-Man and still be able to make a successful film and have like a big pop. A lot of people know who Venom is, and that partially has to do with the influence that he has had on the Spider-Man character stories. And you're going to find that for each one of these characters, we'll discuss the sort of ins and outs of that. Does that seem fair? Does that seem good? Are you ready? Are you ready to get into this? Picking up what I'm putting down? Oh, hell yeah. Okay, let's start with the Green Goblin. So let's talk about iconic status. Is the Green Goblin instantly recognizable? Yes or no, champ? Is the Green Goblin instantly recognizable? Could you see yourself buying a Green Goblin shirt, Could you see yourself buying some Green Goblin figures, some Green Goblin statues? And let me just ask you this. I'm just curious. How many of you guys do have something in your house that's Green Goblin? Whether it's a poster, maybe it's an action figure, maybe it's a shirt. Green Goblin. What do you think? You got some Green Goblin shit or not? Some people have it, some people don't. Yeah. So I would say that the Green Goblin, as far as iconic status, has pretty decent iconic status. I mean, the old 90s Spider-Man show did a lot to sort of raise his cachet, but also the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and then even Spider-Man No Way Home. You get another taste of Green Goblin. Ultimate Spider-Man right now is dealing with a Green Goblin. So I think Green Goblin is pretty iconic and has been helped by media outside of comics, but I don't think he's S-tier iconic. I almost don't think he's A-tier iconic, but I could kind of see him maybe being A-tier as far as iconic. Now let's talk about the impact and the significance of the Green Goblin character. I mean, I think this character has certainly made an impact on Spider-Man through a lot of the different media that we just discussed. I think even within Dark Reign and Norman Osborn, there's a lot of sort of impactful things that are done, you know, with Siege and Hammer and falling out of like Secret Invasion. So I think he's made a pretty big impact there. I think he's made impact in the live action shows. So I'd say it's made a pretty big impact. I'm kind of feeling either A or B as far as impact is concern. And then I would say, like, with influence and legacy, it's a very similar thing. You know, they will keep making stories about the Green Goblin. You will keep being excited about different versions of the Green Goblin. You know what I mean? So I think it's between A or B with Green Goblin. What do you guys think, chat? What do you think? In fact, you guys want to go to the poll? Let's go to the poll between A and B. Let's go to the polls. Green Goblin. A or B? Boom. You let me know. We'll let the poll go for a little bit, and then we'll kind of let that decide it. Yeah. A truck in Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive horror film. Wait, what? Oh, shit. Yeah, they made him look like Green Goblin in there? Yeah. S? A lot of people are saying S? I don't think he's quite S, no. I think once we talk about some of the S tier ones, you will see. You'll see the difference. No Way Home solidified him as A status. I could see that. Green Goblin, definitely A. Bro, what? Wait, people disagree? Some of you guys think he's S tier? Ain't no way, fam. Ain't no way. He's S tier? Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put him in A. Maybe we'll talk about this later, but, man, I just really don't think he's S tier. In fact, I'm so confused. We got to go to the polls again. Because I'm confused. I need to know how many of you actually think he's S tier. Is Green Goblin S tier? I gotta know, dude. I gotta know. And I also gotta fix the music. What the hell? I gotta know. I gotta know. It's been fucking 20 minutes since we started this. We have one thing on the board. So we better, I'm going to just go ahead and stop recording that because that's not a clip. That's a whole goddamn video. But that's okay. We're going to get through this. I promised a long stream. We're going to have a long stream. Chet, where's the music? Holy shit. It might be 5 hours before we get the next one on the board. I cannot believe that 42% of you think Green Goblin is S tier. Holy. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna keep him on. We're gonna keep him on A, but that is fascinating. I think it just goes to show, though, you know, with this sort of stuff, it's heavily influenced by like different forms of media and different attachments that audiences have with the character. Here's what I think sort of stops Green Goblin from being S. How many video games is Green Goblin the main villain of? You know what I mean? Like, how many shows is Green Goblin the main villain of? How many long episode arcs of any particular animated series has Green Goblin as an S tier villain? Do you know what I mean? So I just don't think he gets to S tier status. Maybe he could eventually. But yeah, he's good. He's good. Okay, let's talk about the Red Skull. So let's talk about the iconic status of the Red Skull. I mean, you can instantly recognize the Red Skull. Could you see yourself buying a Red Skull shirt? Could you see yourself buying a Red Skull poster? Maybe a Red Skull action figure. What do you think? Yeah, I'd say probably a little less so, right? He's certainly iconic, but I don't know that you're going to be all that excited to show off that iconic nature, right? So I'd kind of put him a little bit lower than Gobbo, just based off of that. We'll put him in the B for now. Now let's talk about significant impact. We're talking canon. We're talking non-canon here. Okay? Now, Red Skull's obviously done a lot of crazy stuff in comics. But how many major comic book events had the Red Skull as the main villain? Do you know what I mean? Ray Umbo says, Dog, I promise you, more people know Goblin than Doom or anyone else on this list. If you're going off merch, none of these villains have any. Look, first of all, I love the passion. I love the passion. We're getting super passionate about the Green Goblin. And I understand your position. I'm not saying like you're totally wrong. But I was just I'm a lifelong nerd. I think you're a lifelong nerd. I mean, the amount of Doctor Doom shirts that I've seen in my life, the amount of pieces of Doctor Doom merch that I've seen in my life, it far eclipses the amount of Green Goblin stuff that I've seen. Doctor Doom has been involved in way more stories. Here's kind of a weird metric that's super niche. So I played HeroClix for a long time, right? I really like HeroClix. HeroClix would have rarity, right? So you'd have like a common, you have an uncommon, you have a rare, you have a super rare, and then you have a chase rare. And chase rares are usually reserved for the figures and the characters that people just gotta have. Okay? I have never seen a Green Goblin chase figure. Right? I've never played a video game and it's just a crazy Marvel game and all of a sudden Green Goblin shows up and is like pulling all the strings. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, we're getting off track. So how many stories has Red Skull actually been the main villain of? What kind of an impact has he made? I would argue not a lot. Right? I would argue even with the help of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, his stock has not really raised all that much. And if we're talking about significant impact, man, I'm almost tempted to put him down at C. Okay. Now, if we talk about influence and legacy, I mean, I think that you've definitely got some influence. You've definitely got a legacy. And certainly affects a lot of stuff in canon. But I kind of feel like this is him. Legacy would be like this. Okay. if you think about the legacy of like Venom, you've got multiple other people that become Venom in Marvel Comics. They do a lot of crazy stuff with the Venom character. Venom was just a big time villain in a couple of Marvel video games. Venom has his whole series of movies over at Sony. Do you know what I mean? So, like, that's what I mean by, like, legacy. Right? So, I would have to say I'm feeling pretty comfortable with Red Skull sitting down here at C, which is crazy because I think he is super iconic, but he just hasn't made a significant impact in comics or outside of comics. And he doesn't really have a legacy inside and outside of comics. You know what I mean? So I'm going to put him there. Okay. Let's talk about Loki. Is Loki from Marvel instantly recognizable? Is Loki pretty iconic? Yeah, Loki's pretty iconic. Right? Yeah, definitely. Super iconic. I'll ask you guys another one of these kind of questions. How many of you have some Loki merchandise? Maybe you got a Loki shirt. Maybe you got a Loki statue. Yeah, dude. Super iconic, right? I mean, and of course, the Marvel Cinematic Universe helped this. Loki was always a pretty popular villain. He's a long-standing Avengers villain. He's had really significant arcs in comics before. He's actually attached to some of the Siege stuff with Norman Osborn, but it was Tom Hiddleston. It was the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Loki show itself. Loki has become incredibly iconic. Now, let's talk about significant impact. We're talking canon and we're talking non-canon. And again, I think that Loki has just made an incredible impact. Within canon, you're talking about what he's able to do within Marvel Comics. He's done a lot of crazy stuff. Outside of that, there are video games where Loki is a bigger villain, a bigger threat. I don't know how many times Loki has been a super significant threat in different like animated shows. Like I'm thinking of like Earth's Mightiest Heroes and some stuff like that. I think we get, good bit of Loki that way. But of course it's really mostly Marvel, MCU, and the way they have sort of elevated the platform of that character. So I would say the impact that Loki has made, even just via Marvel, I mean, he's the god of stories and shit now. Like, that's kind of crazy. Loki was iconic before Marvel. I mean, that's fair too. You're talking about a Norse god. Mythological factors there too. So yeah, no, that kind of adds into it as well. What about the influence and legacy of this character? The influence and legacy. I mean, I think we can kind of keep Loki into S tier, right? I mean, is anybody going to be mad that Loki's in the S tier? Probably not, right? Yeah, so I see some people saying that he should be an A. I guess, why do you think he should be an A? You know what I mean? I would say without the MCU, yeah, we put him in A. But the MCU, man, I mean, dude, the impact that he has made on just the fandom in general is so crazy, dude. Like, I think it's got to be S. He's got to be S tier. He doesn't compare to the other S tiers. I'm not so sure. Let's talk about that. Okay, let's talk about Doctor Doom. Okay, so iconic status. Instantly recognizable. Okay? But here's something that's kind of interesting. I don't think he's as recognizable as Thanos. So, if you went out and talked to 10 random people at the mall and you had a picture of Thanos, I'm pretty sure 9 out of 10 of them are going to know it's Thanos. Okay? You put a picture of Doctor Doom, I think maybe 7 out of 10. Maybe even 6 out of 10. He is instantly recognizable. He is super iconic. I mean, think about how many video games have Doom as either a villain or a big-time villain. Think about how many animated shows introduce Doctor Doom as the villain, as this really important figure. Think about how many comic book runs Doctor Doom has been a part of and been a big player. The Ultimate Alliance games. Doctor Doom is the main villain in the Ultimate Alliance games, especially in the third one. I guess it technically becomes Thanos and then Thane, but it's Doom. Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Is Doctor Doom not the main villain of Marvel vs. Capcom 3? You know? I'm just saying Green Goblin is A tier. Green Goblin is in A tier. So yeah, I would say from that, Doctor Doom, big deal. Influence and legacy, I would say it's really high. Really high. Doctor Doom's been the main villain of the old Fantastic Four movie. He's going to be the villain, a villain in the new MCU. I think we're kind of stuck here between A and S tier for Doctor Doom. I think I'm tempted to say that he's S tier, and I would say among nerds, he's definitely S tier. But I think especially when you consider like I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe could take him to another level. You know what I mean? No mention of MF Doom. I mean, MF Doom was incredible. Do you think that shows influence outside of the comics? I suppose it does, yeah. I think we'll leave Doom in S tier, but I think that he will truly earn that spot soon. You know what I mean? I think for a lot of us, we're like, yeah, no, he's obviously S tier. Like, again, going back to the HeroClix thing. Like, do you know how many versions of Doom are, like, chases? Dude, there's so many versions of Doom that are chase rares. The amount of Doom merchandise. Yeah, he's super high. He's super high. So I'd put him in S tier. Thanos, we don't even really have to get into. Through all the things that we just spoke about, he's clearly S tier. Probably the highest of all of the S tiers, and that is in large part due to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? We don't really have to get into it with Doom. Or with Thanos. Let's talk about Magneto. Let's talk about iconic status. Is Magneto instantly recognizable? Yeah, he's pretty instantly recognizable, right? I mean, think about how much Magneto merchandise you've seen. Maybe how much merchandise you have of Magneto. Think about the fact that he's been this massive iconic villain in comics. So many big events involving Magneto. On top of that, we've had 2 different versions of Magneto in live action via Fox, both of them very good. Magneto's been a big part of video games, a big part of animated shows. Magneto's fucking huge, man. Very, very iconic. He's an S tier. 100%. Let's talk about Killmonger. This is an interesting one. How iconic is Eric Killmonger? You go show those 10 people at the mall Killmonger and ask them who that is. Who do you think? Yeah, I'd say like C or D. In fact, we'll put him in D just for now because I think he's like his stock is just completely created by the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is a way lesser known character that Marvel elevated, right? Now let's talk about significant impact, canon and non-canon. This is interesting. I don't think Killmonger has done much of anything in comics, but outside of comics, pretty influential. Part of 2 massive Black Panther movies, big part of the What If show. I'd potentially bump him up to a C as far as the impact. But when it comes to influence and legacy, I mean, how many Killmonger pieces of merchandise do you think people have? You know what I mean? How much, how many movies, how many video games, how many animated shows have Killmonger? Yeah, I don't know, man. I kind of feel like he might be D level. I honestly think he's probably D tier. Yeah, I think that's probably appropriate. We're going to do Kang last. Okay. Let's talk about the Shadow King. Shadow King. How iconic is the Shadow King? I think he's instantly recognizable, but probably just not to most people. So therefore, it's not really iconic. Who? You guys don't know about the Shadow King? You guys don't know about Shadow King? Nobody watched Legion? Yeah, I'd probably have to put him pretty low there. Significant impact, canon and non-canon. Unfortunately, not very impactful. Now, I love the Legion show. And I felt like Shadow King was incredible in that show. Okay, but unfortunately that show wasn't super popular. Because I don't even think a lot of you guys have even seen that, right? Like, I like that show, man. What are we doing here? Why does my music keep getting turned off? What the hell? I don't understand it. Yeah, so I don't think Shadow King has much of a significant impact. I mean, the Legion show, but not really doing too much. What about legacy, influence? Not really too much, man. I'd have to put him down here in the D tier as well. Yeah, I'd probably put him down in the D tier. Let's talk about Annihilus. Yo, be honest with me, guys. Throw a 1 into the chat if you have no idea who Annihilus is. Like, just be honest with me. Yeah. None of us really, I mean, I don't even think his design is iconic. You know what I mean? Like the helmet, even if you were to just take that helmet and that face, like I don't think that's that iconic, right? What about significant impact, canon and non-canon? Now here's where it gets a little interesting because the Annihilation Wave was a big deal in Marvel Comics. That was huge. Okay? So he has a decent impact within Marvel. I want to say he has also been in some video games. You know, has kind of made a splash like that in some video games. But as far as like influence and legacy, I don't really think that we've got much going on here. I might just stick him in C because at least he had a pretty big impact within Marvel Comics. Yeah, he's in Marvel Snap. Yeah. Was it Marvel vs. Capcom 3? You think D tier, guys? You think Annihilus is D tier? Move him up to B. I don't know about that. Here, let's go to the polls on this. We'll decide C or D tier. And I definitely spelt this right. C or D. Boom. What do you think? This chat is MCU biased. I mean, yeah. Nah, it probably is. C, it's settled. Well, Joe, it's not settled because we got to look at the poll. According to Annihilus' wiki page, he was supposed to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 before the High Evolutionary. Well, that would have helped. That certainly would have helped. It looks like we're going to have to go with D. I'm going to wait just a little bit, but it's probably going to be D. It's probably going to have to be D. Sorry, Annihilus. I think you're cool, but you're D tier, according to the poll. Ooh, now let's talk about Carnage. Let's talk about Carnage. How iconic is the Carnage character? Show us your Annihilus merch. Josh, what you got? I got shit for Annihilus, dude. He's pretty iconic. He's pretty iconic. I don't know. How many people out of 10 do you think would know who Carnage is? Here's what I think. I think you show 10 people at the mall a picture of Carnage. I think 8 out of 10 of them could tell you connected to Spider-Man. Maybe 8 out of 10 could say, I've seen this character before. But the amount of people that would literally be able to say, yeah, that's Carnage, I'm going to say like 4 or 5 out of 10. What do you think? Is that fair? Like, I think we can all agree that Venom is more iconic than Carnage. Yeah? Hell no! No way! I like the strong reaction. Like, can you agree that Venom is more iconic than Carnage, right? That's fair. Right. So I'm going to put him in B as far as iconic status. Okay, let's talk about significant impact. We're talking canon, we're talking non-canon. Carnage has had some really popular events. You know, Maximum Carnage, Minimum Carnage. I'm sure there's other ones that I'm forgetting about. I don't even know. Didn't he do something with Mephisto recently too? So, had a pretty big impact. Carnage was a big deal in the old Spider-Man show. Dude, I know, y'all, when you watch that 90s Spider-Man show, when Carnage came into the picture, whoo! Carnage is cool, man. Carnage was cool, man. So this stream is going to like 3 Eastern Standard Time. I mean, it might. I don't know. Shit, I'm not counting. Are you counting? I don't know, Renee. I thought I was trying to do a longer stream to make it up to you guys. But if you don't want a longer stream, then I guess we could just end it early. We could just end it early then. You know what I am going to do, though? I'm going to shut off the gambling. That's enough gambling for you. Boom. What about influence and legacy? What do you think, guys? The death of the Venomverse solidified Carnage. I mean, look, you've got the movie Venom 2, but Venom 2, it's not like it blew up. It's not like Venom 2 went crazy. I liked Woody Harrelson as Carnage, but I mean, if that movie had made $1 billion, maybe we'd be talking about it, but it kind of really underperformed, you know? Ezekiel Sims is S tier? Oh, shit. Okay. I think Carnage is right at home as a B. I think for a lot of nerds, we'd have him at A. You know what I mean? But I think we're talking about, like, the normies' opinions do matter. Like, again, everybody's going to know Thanos, bro. Everybody's going to know Thanos. Everybody's got some Loki merch. Everybody knows about Doctor Doom. Everybody knows about Magneto. Carnage is not on that level. And he's damn sure not on the level of Green Goblin. Green Goblin, as a couple of angry people are pointing out, very iconic. If you're talking to normies, they'll all know Goblin, bro. See, exactly. I was waiting for it. Rayumbo, exactly. So I think Carnage, I think he's a B, man. He's actually probably B to C. But I do think the impact he has made on Spider-Man and Venom kind of keeps him in B. He has had some very impactful stories, and his connection to Venom and his connection to Spider-Man, pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right, let's talk about the Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin. That's why he's ass. How iconic is the Hobgoblin? Yeah, I don't think he's too iconic. Although I personally think, and maybe some of you guys will go fucking crazy on me. Definitely Rayumbo will. I will tell you, before the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans, that Hobgoblin was more popular than Green Goblin. Back me up on this. Back me up on this, chat. I'm telling you, Hobgoblin was more popular before the Raimi movies. How? He just was like on more comic covers. He had done more in comics. I'm telling you, Hobgoblin was that guy. I'm telling you, man. That's the way I remember it. Hobgoblin was the shit. You guys are like, wrong. We're so divided. It's so interesting. I'm not old enough to know that one. Well, there you go. That's okay. You're getting an edumacation. You're in the room with all of us crazy nerds as we fight and bicker over all of this stuff. So you're getting a real education. Unfortunately, they really haven't done shit with Hobgoblin in live action. There were some rumors that Ned was going to be Hobgoblin. Man, I like Hobgoblin. I like his connection to the Magi. I even liked it when... Wasn't there a version of the Hobgoblin where Ben Urich becomes Hobgoblin? Somebody help me with this. Some of you sweaties, man, help me out with this, man. Hobgoblin was that guy. But unfortunately, he has not been helped. I mean, I don't know how many other shows Hobgoblin is the main villain of. I don't know how many video games Hobgoblin has showed up in. Like, has Hobgoblin popped up in any of the Sony Spider-Man games? Normies know Carnage more than Doom? I disagree. I wonder why you think that. I mean, I'm open to hearing your reasoning. I believe so. Lego Marvel superheroes, I think. Yeah, unfortunately, we got to put Hobby down here in D, man. Like I said, I think there was a time, maybe, when he was that guy, but no longer. Okay, let's talk about Apocalypse. How iconic is Apocalypse? What do you think? I think Apocalypse is pretty recognizable. I mean, huge part of a lot of the really fun X-Men stuff, you know, with like Cable, Strife, all that kind of stuff. He looks very iconic. He's a very iconic looking character. I think you can kind of instantly tell that's Apocalypse. I think he's been in some video games that were like older X-Men games that Apocalypse was a part of. Obviously has a big role in the animated X-Men show. I think he's been in video games. This is an interesting one because I almost feel, and I wonder if you guys agree, I almost feel like that Apocalypse movie hurt his stock a bit. You know? I think he's pretty iconic. As far as his significant impact, huge in the comics, not so much outside of comics. Like, again, dude, that movie kind of hurts his stock a little bit. Because Apocalypse is fucking awesome, but, like, that movie, not that great, and kind of made him seem silly. Not that great, huh? Influence and legacy, I mean, I will say he's got a decent legacy and impact and influence. There's the Age of Apocalypse universe timeline in comics. This is something that's visited again, you know, throughout Marvel Comics, but when Secret Wars rolled around, you had Age of Apocalypse characters popping back up. I gotta put Apocalypse down here in the B tier, man. I think he's more iconic. I think you'd have more shirts, more, you know, action figures, statues, more influence than Red Skull. I kind of put him in that B tier. Steven Torres is like, what the fuck? Dude, tier lists, always a great way to bring the community together, you know? Always a great way to bring the community together. He's an A. He's A based on what? The disrespect. I could maybe see an argument for A. Let's go to the polls. Between A and B, what do you think? We'll go to the polls. I will abide by the results of this poll. And I think if you were taking the normies out of it, yes, he would be A tier. But I think because the normies are an important factor, I think he has to become B. I don't know. We'll let you guys decide. No way he's A. Ah, man, there's going to be some fist fights in the tower today. The actual first mutant. That's true. That is true. Yeah. It has been decided. Yeah, it seems like it'll be B. Show people a picture and they won't know who he is. I agree. I think it's like you're looking at 3 or 4 out of 10. Yeah. Should be C. You see? Some people are even saying it should be C. I don't agree with that, though. I think it's B. Boom. We'll go B. Go by the poll. All right, let's talk about Mystique. How iconic is Mystique? I think Mystique is pretty fucking iconic, okay? I think this is a character that was also helped by the Fox X-Men movies. I think this is a character that ironically was helped by a lot of cosplayers. A lot of great Mystique cosplays. You know what I mean? So I'd probably say she's A level of iconic, maybe even S level of iconic. Like, you ask people who that is, although they might not be able to say the name, but they would know generally who you're talking about, you know? So I think in the A tier. Now let's talk about significant impact, canon and non-canon. To me, this is all non-comic stuff. What happened in the movies, what happens in some of the shows. I think Mystique is elevated because of stuff outside of comics. I can't really think of too many crazy things Mystique has even done in the comics. Like, I think a character like Emma Frost has done more impactful things in Marvel Comics than Mystique. 6 theatrical films. Yeah, I mean, that's huge. How many theatrical films has Apocalypse had? 1. Mystique has been in 6 of them. I mean, that kind of matters. You know what I mean? So I'd have to pull her down on impact for sure. Or, let's keep her there. Now, let's talk about influence and legacy beyond all these sort of things. I gotta say, I think she belongs in A. I think she belongs in A. I mean, yeah, she's a supporting character. But she's also like the supporting character. I think she's an A tier villain. She's weak. Yeah, no, she's weak. Well, this doesn't have to necessarily do with power level. I think she belongs in A. I think that's good. Now she's B or C? B? Josh, more people know Carnage, though. Do you really think so? I don't really think so, bro. Any updates on the One Piece journey? I think we're in the 200s. If not, we're close. We're in the Sky Cloud arc, which I think is cool, dude. The knights and like the gods and the sky. I like that. The sky people. Shit's cool. Please look up how many appearances Goblin has in TV and movies, man. Why don't you look it up and just tell me, Rambo? Bro is the biggest Green Goblin fan. He is super triggered. And you know what's funny? Wasn't Green Goblin the first fucking one we did? Isn't Green Goblin the first one we did? So, Rayumbo, have you literally been triggered for this entire time? You love to see it. You love to see it. Mark Hamill voiced the Hobgoblin. That is cool. That is a cool fact. Yeah, and she worked for Apocalypse. Ooh. I gotta say, guys, I think she belongs in A, but I'll go to the poll. I'll go to the polls between A and B. I could be swayed for her being in B. I could be swayed to putting her in B. But I really think she's A. That's an insult to the Green Goblin? How? Stir that pot, baby. Oh, we stirring. Oh, we stirring it right along. S tier? Ain't no way, bro. Nah, she's definitely not S tier. Well known, just not top tier villainy. Yeah, I think that's fair. She's A, you weebs. Ryan, what level are you in Helldivers? You've been spreading a lot of freedom, bro. But Loki is? Yes! We've explained it. I've literally explained it. We've gone through the criteria. We've done all that sort of stuff, and everybody agrees with me. Holy shit. It's right on the line. It's literally 50-50 right now, guys. Wow. Wow. Oh boy. Oh boy. 6th, haven't played much. Big session tonight though. Nice, man. Hit me up later. Maybe we can get on together. I think I'm like level 11. Been having a lot of fun with it. Yeah, we might have to, I mean, dude, B's winning. All right, here's the thing. I'm going to close the poll in like a minute. So you guys got a minute. You better make some decisions. Beat those bugs, baby. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. Got ticks for Dune Thursday at 3. Hell yeah. I can't wait to see it. How is this so close? Well, people just kind of have a kind of difference of opinion here. All right, we got 30 seconds. Have you fought the Bile Titan? Yes. Yes. 20 seconds. Seeing Demon Slayer tonight? Nice. I've unfortunately, I really didn't like. I don't love how they do like the last episode and the recap thing. I'm probably not going to see the Demon Slayer thing. But if you love Demon Slayer, get to see it on the big screen. The animation is top tier. So good for you. All right, guys. I think we're going to call it here in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's A tier. But, I mean, if we could put her in between, that would pretty much be where she's at. She's basically between A and B. Okay, let's talk about the Juggernaut. Guys, how iconic is the Juggernaut? How iconic is the Juggernaut? I think Juggernaut's pretty iconic, man. Man, I feel like this is another one of those things where Juggernaut used to be more iconic. Just in comics, Juggernaut was that guy. When Juggernaut showed up, oh shit, it's crazy. Juggernaut is awesome. Juggernaut was also elevated in the video games. I think in the Marvel vs. Capcom games, man. Juggernaut was freaking awesome in those games. Super cool. A lot of the animated X-Men stuff was great. Really like Juggernaut. Juggernaut's okay in the X-Men movies. There's that classic line of like, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Exactly. Dead Demon says it. So obviously that's pretty iconic. But I really like the Juggernaut from Deadpool 2. I really like Juggernaut. He's like the right size in Deadpool 2. Rips Deadpool in half. That was hilarious. How could you comment on the animated Jugs when you haven't watched X-Men Evolution? Well, that's where you're wrong, Trev. I have watched X-Men Evolution. I just didn't finish it because I didn't like it. Juggernaut's pretty iconic, man. I think he's pretty iconic. Let's talk about impact, canon and non-canon. Here's where it gets a little weird. I don't really think Juggernaut has done too much. Yeah. So I don't think he's really had an impact. I mean, maybe you could say in the movies. But he hasn't really had a big impact outside of that, right? And influence and legacy, unfortunately, I feel like we got to drop him again. It's kind of funny. He's actually is very similar to Red Skull to me. He's very iconic in the sense that you can instantly recognize that character. But I don't know how much you're going to like buy a Juggernaut shirt. buy a Juggernaut figure. Although a huge Juggernaut statue, like a 1/4 scale statue of Juggernaut, would be pretty dope, bro. That would be pretty cool. I think he's probably going to live at C tier. He's in way more media than Red Skull. I think that's fair. That's fair. He is. So you're saying he should be D tier? C is too low? I think C's perfect for Juggernaut. That's what I think. Okay, let's do... I'll tell you what. We'll go to the polls. Juggernaut. We'll go A. We'll go B. And I'll add C. Just to see what you guys think. It's kind of an experiment to see what you guys do when we give you 3 choices. Juggernaut greater than Skull? I don't know. I see him pretty even. C is crazy? I don't know. Why did you give an A? Oh, wait. Why did I do that? God damn it. Should have been B, C, D. Hey, look. 10% of you think he's A, though. Right now, the poll's winning on C. Yeah, I think it's gonna be C, guys. Mystique over Apocalypse? Josh, I think you're losing it. We're not talking about which one we like more. We're talking about how iconic the character is, how much of a significant impact they've made in comics and outside of comics, and how much influence and legacy the character has. Technically, you add the A people to the B people. God damn it. Should we just do B and C? Man, this stream is... We're going to be here till 7 p.m. All right, let's do Jugs. We'll go B to C. You know, let's just try to be fair here. Let's just try to be fair. B and C. B and C. Okay? Well, I'm only going to give this a minute. In fact, I'm going to go get a water. I'll be right back. And I also want to remind everybody, we're doing a drawing for the $200 GameStop gift card. We're going to draw it later in this stream. So if you're a member, you're automatically entered to win on Twitch and on YouTube. Stop the count. Guys, he's C tier. I don't know what to tell you. We tried it a couple of different ways here. It's C. Okay. Onslaught. How iconic is Onslaught? Here's the thing. He's pretty iconic. However, I think a lot of people would just be like, isn't that just a version of Magneto? You know what I mean? So I think he's probably C or D as far as iconic. Impact he's had in the canon? I mean, he's had a pretty big impact. Pretty big impact. but there's nothing in like a lot of movies and not in a lot of shows. I think we'd have to put him in the D tier. Like, Onslaught is so cool. Like, I love Onslaught. I like Onslaught way more than I like Mystique. But Mystique is so much more iconic. So many more people know about Mystique. Mystique's impact on the nerds, on the fandom in general, is so much bigger than Onslaught. So unfortunately, I think we got to have Onslaught down here. All right, let's pick up the pace a little bit because we're not even halfway through. Let's talk about Dormammu. How iconic is Dormammu? How iconic? Yeah, not too iconic. What impact has Dormammu made outside of comics? Yeah, unfortunately, not too much. I mean, I think it's aided from Doctor Strange. I think Dormammu gets a little video game help. I loved playing Dormammu in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Whoo, very good. The meme ability has helped for sure. Depending on how Doctor Strange 3 goes, I could see his stock raising or falling. But I think he lives right here at C. I think he lives right here at C. Despite being pretty cool. Sabretooth, guys. Sabretooth. How iconic is Sabretooth? I could see him in B. I mean, he's pretty iconic. He's been in the animated shows. He's been in the movies. He's been in the video games. I don't think they do too much interesting stuff with him in the movies. I like Liev Schreiber as him, to be honest. As far as impact in the comics, there's a couple of fun things that Sabretooth does, but he's never been like a huge part of any really impactful story. I don't really see him being the main villain in too many, different video games or animated shows. Legacy and impact, not really, man. Not really. You know what I mean? So I think he's either B or C. I would actually put him C because I don't think he's as known and iconic and influential as these two. So I think we'd have to put him into C. What do you guys think? Smack my head. You can't put Sabretooth under Mystique? Yes, I can. Do you not understand? Do you not see where this is going? Bro, why are still people talking about Green Goblin? I know, right? Vote for what? He's literally Wolverine's main villain. But how many people know that? Like, that's part of it. Like, again, we're not talking about just from the perspective of comics. We're talking about the total impact that these characters have made on nerd culture. Mystique isn't iconic at all. When I think about X-Men in the films, I don't think about her at all. Really? Really? He's huge in the X-Men 90s cartoon. I don't really even remember him being that big. I mean, obviously he's in there, but I don't really remember him being a big deal. Come on, bro. It's just funny. I'm having a great time on this tier list, man. Just seeing how you guys react to different villains and stuff like that is really cool. It's really fun because it just kind of shows we all have like our own like attachments and feelings towards each one of these characters. It's pretty fun. Was supposed to be in a lunch meeting with a big office, but their scheduler messed up. Now I catch some live nerd venging. Jesus works in mysterious ways. Take some money I would have spent on their lunch. Hey, I appreciate it, brother. Thanks so much. And I hope you're having fun, man. There's chaos in the tower. Can you feel it? Can you feel the chaos? The 10 gets you red. I'm going to read all of the questions. Man, what's going on? Why is everybody so perturbed? I go over all the super chats every stream. I'm just going to do it later. I didn't skip it. I didn't skip your 5. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Everybody's like so triggered. There's so much tension. Yeah, you know what? It's nice to have you guys triggered. It's nice to have you guys triggered for once and not me. Vandolph the Black says, list perfect so far, but you robbed the gob. Name a more iconic nemesis to Spider-Man. I would say Venom. S-tier hero needs S-tier villain. He shaped his life, personality through comics, video games, and much. Yes! I hear you. I understand that argument. It's not a bad argument. Hunter Larson says, my parents wouldn't allow me to watch X-Men because of the mystique. I had to convince grandma to rent it and got me grounded. S-tier, much love. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. I was talking to the guy calling me broke. Oh, shit. Okay. No, Dixon Way. I didn't skip it. We're going to go over all that. I go over all the super chats at the end. If I'm like looking or I'm thinking and I don't see the chat come in, you know, I missed it in the moment, but I'm going to talk about it later. Hell no, Goblin over Venom. Guys, holy shit. Can we get serious for a minute? There's no way you guys are telling me that the Green Goblin is more iconic than Venom. There's no way you're telling me that the Green Goblin has made more of an impact in comics and outside of comics than Venom. Bro, there's no way. How about my member chat? Yeah, I'm going to go over that too. I'm going to go over all of it. Goblin is more iconic. What the fuck? What? Ah, man, I just don't see it. Do you guys realize that Sony, and maybe this, as I'm saying it, I'm like, God damn it, but it is Sony. You have Sony, and they made a Venom movie. They made a Morbius movie. They're making a Kraven movie. They haven't made a Green Goblin movie. If Green Goblin's so iconic, then why aren't they making more Green Goblin shit? Okay. I don't even know what we're doing here. I lost track of everything. Okay. Let's talk about Kingpin. How iconic is the Kingpin? How iconic? I mean, he's pretty iconic, right? Pretty iconic. Big guy, usually bald, big old white suit. Hell, I even like Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin. I thought he was cool as Kingpin. I think Kingpin's probably S tier as far as iconic. You know what I mean? What about significant impact, canon and non-canon? I think the animated show elevates Kingpin to a very high level. We've had Kingpin in live action shows, of course, through Daredevil. But also, like, you know, you've got the old Daredevil movie, Michael Clark Duncan, Kingpin, big deal. Kingpin's even been big in certain video games. Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate Alliance. I believe he's in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, although I didn't really play that one, so I'm not really sure. Obviously, super big deal. Vincent D'Onofrio coming back into the MCU, being a part of the Hawkeye show, being a part of the Echo show, and really the best part of both of those shows. Very, very iconic and has made significant impacts. Influence and legacy. Influence and legacy. I don't know, man. I think I almost feel like it's between S and A, and I'm kind of leaning towards S. I'm kind of leaning towards S here. Let's go to the polls. Oh, man. Wait, hang on. S A. If you put it in above Goblin, oh my God. I did not realize there were so many Green Goblin fans. Damn. Damn. Looks like a lot of you guys want him in an A. I could live with that. I think A is appropriate. A is pretty appropriate. I mean, it's not like he's, Devil's Reign is probably the biggest event that Kingpin was like directly involved in. He's never been a super big threat beyond that. He's just sort of a constant presence with the New York heroes and Spider-Man, Daredevil, that sort of stuff. So I think A is good. I think that's good. All right, let's talk about Venom. You're so biased of your own opinion? Yeah, no, that's how being biased works. But yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, Nick. Okay, let's talk about Venom. How iconic is Venom? S. Even just a black shirt with that symbol on it, you instantly know that that's Venom. Instantly. Significant impact, canon and non-canon. I mean, I think just as his connection to Peter, the symbiote, Peter, crazy. How many video games has Venom been in? A ton. How many pieces of merch? How much, does it extend past comics? A lot. Venom's huge, dude. I mean, again, Venom is so big, Sony decided to make a movie about him without Spider-Man. And the first movie did like $800 million. Venom's huge, dude. Massive. And then influence and legacy is where Venom, I think, really solidifies himself. I mean, we've had Flash Thompson Venom. We've had King in Black. We now have Eddie's son as Venom. Spider-Man becomes Venom. Venom's legacy, absolutely massive for comics. Connected to the Clintar and just all sorts of absolutely epic shit, dude. Like, Venom, huge. Venom is an S-tier Marvel villain. I just don't see how Venom is a better Spidey villain than Goblin. I don't know if better's the right way to phrase it, but he's had more of an impact on him. You know what I mean? And Venom has absolutely had more of an impact just in pop culture. That's what I think. I, by the way, love Flash Thompson Venom. Love Flash Thompson Venom. Agent Venom? Bro. That shit was awesome. Every comic ranker ever will put Goblin above Venom. Every single expert. Are you trying to tell me that I'm not an expert? Wait a minute. Chat, hang on. Hang on a second here. Am I not an expert? Do you see the shirt that I have on? Do you know what I do for a living? Like, I am the expert witness. I am the expert witness! It's actually, yeah, it's a pretty cool shirt. It's pretty cool. It's got like a ton of Marvel characters on it. I think it's got the Goblin on there somewhere. Definitely has Venom. I can buy that same shirt. Yeah, and then you'll be an expert. See what I mean? Man, we should have Electro on there somewhere too. Yeah, Electro wouldn't be bad on there, but at this point we're like way fucking behind. It's been 6 hours. We've been streaming for 6 hours straight. Okay. Venom is S tier. Agree or disagree? Is Venom S tier? Boom. Yeah. He's S tier. Yeah. You know what I'll do too? I'll take a screenshot of this and I'll send it to Rob. And then I'll get his take on it. Yeah, look, of course he's S tier. Okay, let's do the next one. Mr. Sinister. How iconic is Mr. Sinister? I think he's pretty iconic. But here's the problem. He's iconic to nerds. Oh, wait, the screen's not up? Mr. Sinister. He's iconic, but he's iconic to nerds. Instantly recognizable. Love the design. Very cool. One of my favorite characters. One of my favorite villains. But if you go ask 10 people at the mall, which, should I go do this? Should I go ask people? I'll go do it, and I'll record it. That could actually be kind of fun. That would be kind of fun. Cool. Okay, so I think he's pretty recognizable, but I don't think he's super iconic in the way that these other characters are. Okay? Again, everybody's going to know Thanos. I think everybody's going to know Venom. Everybody's going to know Loki. I don't think everybody's going to know Mr. Sinister. Significant impact, canon and non-canon. Sinister is very important to Marvel Comics. Has had some huge, very eventful things happen. He even recently had his own kind of like mini-series thing connected to the Krakoan X-Men, and he had a little glow-up in the Krakoa era. I don't really think he's the main villain of too many shows, animated movies, or video games. Henry is playing Sinister. Mark my words. That would be incredible, man. I would like him a lot as Sinister. Sinister is supposed to be a big part of what Feige wants to do with the X-Men in the MCU. He's obviously going to have a lot to do with X-Men 97 as well. So, I would say decent impact, but not as impactful as Kingpin, Gobbo, or Mystique, so I'd probably drop him down to B. Influence and legacy in and out of canon. Yeah, I don't really see... I'd honestly probably have to... It's such a weird thing. I think he could live here at B. I think he could live here at B. What do you guys think? Will Parker says, hey, Josh, I have to restart my membership on a new account. Can I still get into the Diamond Lounge streams, or will I have to wait another 6 months? We'll get you in there, man. Just send me something either on Twitter or Discord. We'll get you in there. Stop being an A and admit Goblin is S tier. Oh, Henry Lee. It's good to see him. Hope you're doing well, man. Bring in Strife. Oh, dude, I love Strife, but he's D level. Like, nobody knows Strife, bro. I love Strife, dude. Great design. They just made a new like adamantium armor for Wolverine, and it looks a lot like Strife to me. I thought it looked sick. Okay. Let me... Elisa, he's good to go if you want to send him that video. Okay. Are we comfortable with Sinister in B, guys? I feel like Sinister is good in B. Look at that. 77% of people say Venom is S tier. Duh. Okay, cool. We'll leave him in B. Dr. Otto Octavius. Oh, Smythe? Smythe is cool too, but he's pretty low as well. How iconic is Doc Ock? I'd say he's pretty iconic. You know, through Alfred Molina, the animated show. He's also in a lot of movies, a lot of video games. I think he's pretty iconic. Significant impact, canon and non-canon. Doc Ock's always been pretty impactful, but I think the Superior Spider-Man run kind of was really, really impactful. So I'd say fairly impactful, at least in comics. Outside of comics, the movies for sure. Got a nice kind of glow up via No Way Home as well. Influence and legacy outside of comics. You know, I kind of just feel like he belongs over here. I think he's a little bit above, maybe, like he's definitely above Sinister. But I feel like he's probably at that same level as like Carnage and Apocalypse. Doc Ock? No, you don't think so? Doc is S? Doc is A? My God. Okay, we'll do A, B. I'll poll with you guys. A or B? I don't think he's S. I could see him being A, though. B tier is incoherent. Elaborate on that. I can live with B, but I'd vote A. Okay. S, bro? What the fuck? You think he's an S tier villain? I do think a lot of people would know who he is. He's obviously had impact. But I just don't know how many people are getting Doc Ock shirts, Doc Ock merchandise, Doc Ock statues. He is very recognizable. That is true. Damn! 80% of you say A? Holy shit. Okay, we'll go A. We'll go A. Yeah. So I think A is probably appropriate, right? Because I would say Loki's more iconic. Doom is. Thanos, Magneto, Venom. More popular, more impactful. But yeah, I could live with A. I could live with A. Okay, let's talk about Omega Red. How iconic is Omega Red? I gotta tell you, I think he's very iconic in the sense that you can look at the outline, you can look at the symbol, and you're like, okay, that's Omega Red. Problem is, no normies are gonna know who this motherfucker is. Yeah, so we gotta drop him. So I would say he's super iconic among nerds. Great design, really fun character. But we got to drop him. Significant and impact. I mean, let me ask you guys. Did you hate Spider-Man villains? No, I love the Spider-Man villains. Oh, holy shit. We've got 4 Spider-Man villains in the A and the S tier. And you guys are like, do you hate Spider-Man villains? Man, Venom is more of an anti-hero than villain now? Yeah, that's fair. Can anybody name me any goddamn thing that Omega Red has actually done in comics? He hates X-Men villains? Josh, you're trying so hard to put Kang below Omega Red. Doc Ock is A because GG. Green Goblin is S. This is something established much longer than Venom. People who don't even watch these movies know him before Venom. I don't know if that's true, bro. I don't know if that's true, but I definitely get a sense that some of y'all be really feeling that way. I feel like Omega Red, guys, Omega Red's D. He can't even stand toe to toe with these guys. I feel like he's got to be D. I can't think of anything he's actually done. I think he's iconic among nerds, but not among normies. I can't really see too much merchandise. He hasn't really been in a lot of video games, animated things. I think he's got to be D. Star Wars Oddball says, glad you made the greatest decision of your life and enlisted in the Helldivers. Spread, manage democracy, and spill oil. Beware the traitor Gans the demon. What did you name your battle carrier? I named my battle carrier the Hammer of Peace. I love that game. That game's so fun. Okay, Omega Red's D. Galactus, guys. How iconic is Galactus? He's super, super iconic. Here's the question I have, though. How many normies you think will know Galactus? You know what I mean? You literally named yours the Fist of Peace? That's awesome. I think a lot of normies would be like, I've seen him before, but I don't know if they're going to be able to say Galactus. Do you know what I mean? How significant of an impact has he made? Comics, canon to comics and non? I think it's huge. Galactus has some video games. It's been a part of some cool video games. Galactus has been a part of some huge comic book events. I really liked when he came into the Ultimates universe. He like killed the Thor, Ultimates Thor, like died trying to stop Galactus. I think he's a really big deal. I think the problem with Galactus is the old Fantastic Four movies did him super dirty with the clouds. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's very iconic. I think he's made super big impacts. I think his influence and legacy is huge. Through the different heralds and, you know, I think a lot of video games have done a lot of good stuff with Galactus. I am tempted to put him in B tier. I think he's A. And here's the other thing that I'll say. I would say that Galactus has a path to S tier. If he's fucking awesome in the MCU movie, that's going to immediately make him better, you know? If he starts to pop up in more animated stuff, I think it's going to make him a lot better. There's a lot of, you know, the one thing that I'll say about Galactus is his merchandisability is huge. Like, I see a lot of Galactus shirts, Galactus statues, Galactus figures. Galactus is super iconic. you know? I would say A is probably where he's going to have to live. If they hadn't screwed him up in the Fantastic Four movie, he could even be S. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would say he's probably going to be A. All right, let's talk about Ultron. This one's interesting, man. How iconic do you think Ultron is? Ultron's pretty iconic, but I do wonder how many people would be able to name him, right? Out of those 10 randos. The impact that Ultron has made within comics, I think, is pretty big. First of all, he was a recurring Avengers villain. Keeps coming back. There's Hank Pym Ultron, Jocasta. Ultron had a lot of things when Ultron gets the adamantium body. There's obviously Age of Ultron. You have the movie Age of Ultron. You've got Ultron being a big part of certain video games. Ultron was the main villain of What If Season 1, which I think was more popular and more people watched that than the Season 2. Ultron's pretty big. He's made a big impact. Influence and legacy for sure. I kind of think it's between A and B. A says, Josh, how do you feel about Cavill Cyclops? I think another Nerd Avenger may have brought this up before. Thanks for all the great streams. Appreciate you, man. I would love him as Cyclops. Yeah. All right, let's leave him at A. I think Ultron has earned that A. Let's talk about Namor, bro. How recognizable is Namor? And I know some of you guys aren't going to like this, but I think he's going to be a B tier. B tier. Like, Namor's a huge deal in comics, connected to the Fantastic Four, connected around Avengers versus X-Men through T'Challa and the war with Wakanda. They've done a lot of cool stuff with Namor. I think the Black Panther movie helped a little bit. Like, Namor got some extra points because of Wakanda Forever. But even then, like, I don't know. Like, it didn't just shoot him up in the same way that, you know, Vincent D'Onofrio and Loki has. I mean, he's got time. There's rumors that maybe he'll be in Thunderbolt. Wouldn't that be fantastic? So there's some stuff they could do with Namor to make him a little bit more popular. But I kind of think he's honestly at C. I think he's C tier. Like, hardcore comic people like him. But outside of that bubble, not really. Not a lot of impact. Like, do you see yourself going out to buy a Namor shirt? You get Namor socks? You gonna get a Namor bag? You see what I mean? He's a C tier because he's out at sea. Oh, I like that. Yeah, so that's where we're going. Okay, let's go with Null. How iconic is Null? I'm going to put him in A for now. It's interesting because he's so connected to Venom. He's actually getting more points because of how connected to Venom he is. Because Venom, again, is an S tier villain. Null has also had an incredible impact on Marvel Comics in a very short time. Through Gore the God Butcher, the, you know, that all black Necro Sword, through the King in Black storyline. He's made a pretty significant impact. The problem is Null has not been really done in live action. He hasn't really been done in animated shows or anything like that. So he is hurt there slightly. So I would probably put him into B, but I would say a ton of promise. And I could see Null being an S tier, definitely an A tier, within the next 5 years, depending on how they do it. Yeah. Because he's like absolutely incredible, but it's just, he doesn't have the same time. He's a rookie. You know what I mean? You think he's C tier? Yeah, normies would have no idea who this guy is. Yeah. You guys think Noel should be C tier? At best? Oh my God. I'll move him to C. I'll move him to C. But I'm telling you, man, I think Noel has a better chance than a lot of these other villains to be that guy, to be up there that high, for sure. Name more tattoos for all the kids. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. Okay, let's go with Hela. How iconic is Hela? I mean, we're probably all thinking it. Look, Kate Blanchett did great in that movie. That shit was awesome. But, I mean, is Hela iconic outside of that? I guess she is in the What If show. But, I mean, yeah, I really don't see Hela popping off like that. I'm even tempted to put her lower, to be honest. To be honest, she's probably D tier. And if she wasn't in that movie, she wouldn't even be on this list, bro. Venom is an S tier character, not an S tier villain. I could see where you're going with that. I understand that. Ragnarok is pretty good, though. Pretty popular. I kind of think she has to be D. She was in the movie. It's true. It's true, she was. I'll leave her in C. I will leave her in C. Okay. Let's talk about Ronan the Accuser. How iconic is Ronan? I don't really think he's too iconic. Again, a lot of nerds would know who Ronan is. I think the movie helps. Like, he's actually pretty cool in that movie. Like, I thought it was a good performance. But they haven't really done much with Ronan after that. He's not in the second Captain Marvel movie. He's not being built up in Elseworlds. Doesn't really have much going on in comics themselves. It's not like you're going out to get Ronan merch. Yeah, Ronan could be C or D. You know, C or D. You think D? Yeah, it might be D. Might be D. If I recall, the ratings on Nielsen had What If Season 2 were better than for Season 1. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, let's talk about the High Evolutionary. How iconic is the High Evolutionary? Bro, not at all. Like, again, hardcore Marvel fans will know who this guy is. I bet there are people that watched the movie that still wouldn't be able to tell you who this guy is. This guy, let's just put him right into D. Let's not talk about it anymore. He's D tier. Okay. Mephisto. How recognizable is Mephisto? Not super recognizable. Here's the thing, though. The name Mephisto actually became pretty well known because of all of the "Is this Mephisto" memes. Right? I think Mephisto is technically more known than a lot of characters on this list, literally because of Eric Voss and Paul from Heavy Spoilers. Like, they have literally helped to elevate the stock of Mephisto. How impactful Mephisto's a very impactful character within Marvel Comics. Not so much outside of it. You don't really see a ton of Mephisto being in the games or the animated shows or the, different movies and stuff like that. So I'd probably have to drop Mephisto down here. Now, I will say this, though. If it's true that Sacha Baron Cohen is going to be Mephisto, and they do some really cool stuff with him, Mephisto could leapfrog up into B or A simply based on the memes. You think D for Mephisto? Hang on. Let's go to the polls on this one. C or D? I gotta know. I gotta know. He looks like Satan, so it's a big no-no for TV. That's fair. B? Okay, most people say C. We'll keep him at C. Okay. Bullseye. How iconic is Bullseye? I'd put him in B, but I think that could raise a lot depending on Daredevil Born Again. Bullseye has some pretty significant impact within the comics, though. Kills Elektra. Pretty dad bod D. So I'd say he's pretty iconic. Had some impact. I don't see how many people like getting Bullseye merch, buying Bullseye shirts or whatever. I don't think he stands toe to toe with these other villains. I have to put him in C. Okay. Gore the God Butcher. Gore the God Butcher. If Taika had did his job, we're talking B or A. But because Taika fucked this dude up so badly, he drops all the way to D. I can't believe it. Gore is an incredible villain. But that movie was trash, and what they did with him was horrible! But he's so cool. Maybe you can put him up here in C because he's like that cool. And maybe the movie helped a little bit, but like I really don't like that movie. I kind of have to put him down to B. I like the character a lot, you know, but I could see C to D here. C to D here. Okay. Okay. We've arrived. We've arrived. We're finally here. We're finally here. And we've spent hours breaking this down, going through all of these villains. Okay? We've been trying to explain the criteria. I'm trying to get you to think about these Marvel characters and how you consider them. And so tell me, how iconic is Kang? Be honest. Be honest. How iconic is Kang? You instantly recognize Kang. You take this image of comic book Kang, because here's kind of the problem. You take a picture of Jonathan Majors, I feel like a lot of people will be able to tell you, oh, that's that guy that got fired from Marvel. Okay, but that's not what we're talking about. Take the image of Jonathan Majors when he has the blue shit over him and he looks like Kang. Or comic book Kang with the blue skin, the purple and the green. You're telling me that you think people would recognize that as Kang? nerds would. I would say just based off of iconic status, it's maybe A, but I would put him in B. Okay. Could you see yourself buying some Kang merch? You're going to buy some Kang socks? Are you going to get a statue of Kang? Yeah, no. No, you're not. Significant impact, canon and non-canon, comics and outside of comics. Kang has had a couple of pretty big stories. Mostly, though, it's about the Young Avengers and Iron Lad or Avengers Forever. This whole live stream to prove a point. Exactly. Exactly. It's exactly right. So he hasn't really done anything impactful in comics. Those two things are fair, but I'm telling you, Venom has been more impactful in Marvel Comics. Loki has been more impactful. Doctor Doom has been more impactful. Thanos has been more impactful. Magneto has been more impactful. Goblin, Mystique, Kingpin, Doc Ock, Galactus. They've literally all been more impactful than Kang. He's had like one good story. What about outside of comics? How many video games is Kang the main villain of? How many video games is Kang even in? Kang has been in some animated stories, in some of the most recent stuff. We watched some Earth's Mightiest Heroes stuff, and there's some Kang stuff in there. But was Kang ever in the old X-Men 90s show? It's kind of a trick question. Immortus is. But I don't think Kang is. He's in a lot of animated shows. Which ones? Which animated shows? Has Kang ever been in any of the Marvel vs. Capcom games? He's in some animated stuff. Like I said, we watched Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I actually thought it was cool. I liked the Kang part. Fantastic Four cartoon? The old one back in the day, I haven't seen. Yeah. What about influence and legacy, man? Ironically, here's the deal. Let me ask you guys the question. Has Marvel Studios and the live action stuff they've done with Kang, do you think it's helped or hurt the character? Yeah, exactly. If they had just left it at Loki season 1, you could say helped. Because He Who Remains is dope. And that last episode of Loki season 1 is awesome. Unfortunately, that's not the extent. And if you look at Quantum Mania, I think it makes Kang a joke. The post-credit scenes make him a joke. Loki season 2 makes him a joke. So, do you get what I'm saying? Like, do you understand where I'm coming from with this? Kang has arguably never been an S tier, A tier, or a B tier villain ever. And I think Marvel literally made him worse. You think Kang is more iconic than Red Skull, Juggernaut, Dormammu, Sabretooth, Namor, Null, Hela, Mephisto, and Bullseye? Do you think that Kang has had more of an impact in comics and outside of comics than Red Skull, Juggernaut, Dormammu, Sabretooth, Namor, Null, Hela, Mephisto, or Bullseye? Yeah, Kang is a D tier villain. I think he is more well known than anyone in the D tier. That could be. I'd have to agree with that. I think he leads the D tier. I mean, I could see an argument for C. But there's no way he's Carnage level, Apocalypse level, Mr. Sinister level. He was the biggest villain in the 80s? No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. I don't think so. So you see the point? And let's talk about this a little bit further, because it's not just the fact that we have this all done in the tier list here, okay? It's also the fact that I think you can see within this tier list, you can talk or you can discuss Marvel's strategy and how they decide to sell licenses and reacquire them, and the direction in which they're taking their different movies. So, Doctor Doom, valuable villain. They sold the license to him and the Fantastic Four in the 90s to stop from going bankrupt. Magneto, very valuable villain, sold in the 90s to Fox. Venom, very popular villain, sold in the 90s to Sony. Right? Loki and Thanos were improved by the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Marvel Cinematic Universe elevated them. Green Goblin, sold to Sony. Mystique, sold to Fox. Kingpin, they had Kingpin and they didn't really do too much with him. I think that he was also owned by Fox via Daredevil. And that's why he's in the Ben Affleck movie. But that's kind of the thing. And then you think about what Marvel has done. And with Guardians of the Galaxy in particular, like Gunn was obsessed with taking like lower DC level characters and trying to elevate them and make them super cool. And I don't like that's fine. Like that's kind of admirable in some ways. And you look at what Gunn is doing with the DCU, right? He's trying to elevate the Authority. I love the Authority, but they're like sea level. You know what I mean? Gunn is making Creature Commandos, which is probably like a DC level tier team. Gunn is making a weird Justice League Jurassic Park movie. And he's refusing to greenlight a Batman Beyond movie. Right? So like his philosophy and what he's trying to do is like grab up the more obscure villains and elevate them. And I think Marvel was able to successfully do that with Guardians of the Galaxy. They've been able to do that with some of their other franchises. But I think at the end of the day, this is like one of the things that's hurting Marvel right now is that they keep thinking they can take these D and C level people and make them into the S and the A. And I just don't think that's working anymore. And so I think that Kang himself comes out of that phase 4 mentality. And the phase 4 mentality was anything we do within the Marvel Studios universe, people will like and people will gravitate towards. So Kang, just like Miss Marvel, just like She-Hulk, just like Shang-Chi, just like Kate Bishop Hawkeye, just like name them on and on and on, he is just like all of those other characters. He's D, C, maybe. And I think that's ultimately why it is a good thing that in all likelihood we are going away from Kang. Kang absolutely sucks. Bring on more of the S tier villains and turn the actual ship around when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So now, after how many hours? Oh my God, 3 hours? So now, 3 hours later, are we all ready to admit that it's time to move past Kang? The whole thing. Hello? You know what I'm going to do, too? I'm going to go find the comment of that guy that said that about Kang, and I'm just going to link him this stream. I hope it makes his day. Boom. I mean, call me petty. A 3-hour stream based on a singular comment that somebody made? Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I did that. Guys, I gotta go pee. And then I'll come back and we'll do the Q&A and then we'll do the gift card. Madam Web pitch meeting is up? Oh my God. Okay, we'll watch that too. Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta pee! I'll be right back. Everyone say Kang is S tier and watch Josh lose his mind. No! Come on, man. You guys get it? I think I made the point. I think the point was made. It only took a couple hours. Show us that booty again? How dare you? Josh getting high back there? I'm going to be completely honest with you. I actually took my pen and forgot to hit it when I was off camera. So, Looks like I fucked that up. Okay. Hey, it's Lord Veed here. Can you summarize the last 3 hours in 60 seconds? Yes. Green Goblin is way more loved than I thought. Marvel villains, you've got really good ones, some mid ones, bad ones. Kang bad. Marvel Studios screwing up. Everybody needs to get past Kang and embrace the new villains. There you go. TLDR. There you go. I don't get why you don't like Pedro. I really like Pedro. I just don't see him as Reed Richards. Although, I will say, he's been acting like really funny in interviews lately, and I'm seeing it a little bit more. I don't know if you guys are feeling that way. I also like the fact that he's growing out the beard a little bit. I think that could be helpful. And like I said, I have a big video I'm doing. It'll probably end up coming out tomorrow at this point. But yeah, big video about what they might be doing with Reed, and I think it's gonna be really cool. So, you know what though? Here's the thing I'll say about Pedro. I don't see him as Reed. I'm warming up to the idea, but I also kind of regret commenting on the official Marvel announcement of the cast the way that I did, because it got a lot of views, a lot of likes, and I just feel like it's a little uncouth to, as someone with a platform, to like make that comment on the official announcement. It's a little fucked up. I deleted it. Maybe a quote tweet, a little bit more acceptable, but to like put it right there on the post, like I'm absolutely certain Pedro saw that. You know what I mean? And I feel a little bit bad about that. It's not like I have anything against Pedro. I was just being like, bro, like I just don't see it. And y'all just made him look like he's just Pedro with the spiky fucking hair. It's just Pedro. And I didn't like that. You know, put a little effort into it. Like, make him look like Reed. But we live and we learn. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be better. You know what I mean? With the platform and everything. So, yeah, I just don't see him as Reed. But we'll see. We'll see. It's their job to sell me on that. Okay, should we watch the pitch meeting? Oh my God. Madam Web pitch meeting. Let's go. Oh, hell yeah. Hang on now. Pause that. All right.
So, you've got a Spider-Man adjacent movie for me?
Yes, sir, I do. I was thinking we'd make a Madam Web movie.
The word web sounds Spider-Man-y. I'm gonna greenlight this right away. So she's like a female Spider-Man?
No,
Oh.
but this movie is gonna have 3 girls that eventually become Spider-Women.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah, well, they're normal the entire movie, but we will kind of see it once in a flash-forward vision thing.
That's enough for me to heavily lean on in the trailer.
A
Yeah.
little misleading.
I believe the term is female-led, not misleading, and she can be any height, really.
Never mind.
So tell me
What the
about
fuck?
this Spider-Man movie. It's all, we're connected to it. We're a part of that.
Well, at the beginning of the movie, there's gonna be a heavily pregnant woman in the Amazon trying to find a spider that gives you superpowers.
How does she know it gives you powers?
By knowing it. But then when she finds it, the bad guy of the movie, Ezekiel, shoots her and steals it.
Oh, very mean. What's this bad guy's deal?
Well, he was in the Amazon with Madam Web's mom when she was researching spiders just before she died.
Oh, good sentence. I'm gonna put that almost verbatim in the trailer.
Thank you. So then these Peruvian spider people save the baby's life.
Another banger of a sentence.
So then, like 30 years
That
later,
is
the
true.
baby
It's a good
Cassandra
sentence.
is grown up and working as an EMT in New York City.
How did the Peruvian Amazon spider people ship her back to New York City?
You know, Amazon Prime, I don't care.
Okay.
And her EMT partner is Ben Parker.
That's the guy we're always killing.
Yeah.
Oh man, this movie's gonna be so Spider-Man adjacent. People are gonna love how much this almost involves Spider-Man.
Yeah, and so one day Cassie falls into some water and has a near-death experience.
Those can be fatal.
I mean, no, they're not. But anyway, Cassie develops the ability to see the future, kinda, sometimes.
Oh, she does.
And then one day she has a vision of another EMT dying in a car crash, so she tries to stop him, but he's like, okay, you're crazy, and he drives off anyway and dies.
Didn't she kind of cause that by slowing him down and making him leave later than he would have without her involvement?
Hey, shut up. So then one day she sees a vision of these 3 girls, and Ezekiel is killing them in a subway.
Why does he want to kill them?
Because he's been having visions of them eventually getting powers and killing him, so he's got to kill them now before they destroy everything he's built.
What has he built?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't written any dialogue for this guy. I figure we just shoot the movie and then I'll figure out something after, and we'll just re-record every single one of his lines in ADR.
Won't those not match the actor's lips?
Oh, listen, sir, I don't know how any of this works. So anyway, then Cassie saves the girls.
I don't know about this.
Ezekiel has a Spider-Man looking suit you could put in the trailer.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So Cassie steals a taxi and brings these 3 girls to the woods in New Jersey, but she hears on the radio that she's now wanted for kidnapping.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and she's like, I don't want to be doing this. I hate helping people.
Why did she become an EMT?
Unclear. So then one of the girls mentions that Ezekiel crawled on the ceiling like a spider, so Cassie's like, oh, okay, you 3 girls stay in these woods. I'm going to go look at some papers for 3 hours.
What?
Well, see, Ezekiel has access to surveillance cameras all over the place, so the forest really is the safest place for little girls.
Why'd you say that like that?
Anyway, they decide to walk to a nearby diner and dance on some tables.
So they're not traumatized by almost being murdered by a spider person?
No, they want to eat food and flirt with teenage boys.
Well, okay then.
But then somebody in the diner is reading a newspaper with an article about the kidnapping, so he calls the cops.
A newspaper article about a thing that just happened a couple of hours ago in a different state.
Yes, and so then Ezekiel tracks them down.
Uh-oh.
But Cassie has a little vision about this, so she hits him with the stolen taxi.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Wow.
And then she's going to teach the 3 girls CPR, because that's going to come into play later. It's like Chekhov's CPR class.
Oh, you're doing some 3 shadowing.
Isn't it foreshadowing?
It's not up to that level, I don't think, no.
That's fair. Anyway, now Cassie has to go to Peru for a dump.
Kind of a long way to go for a bathroom break.
No, it's an exposition dump.
Like she does it on a canvas?
No, she tracks down the spot in the Amazon where her mom died and meets with a dude who was there and gets all the information we in the audience already have.
That really
okay.
happens
How does she find
in the movie?
The exact spot?
Wow.
She had a Polaroid picture of a tree.
Okay, that's basically coordinates.
So she has a vision about her mom, and now she's not mad at her about researching spiders anymore.
Wait, isn't she wanted for kidnapping? How'd she drive a stolen taxi to the airport and get on a plane to Peru?
Well, I mean, airport security was a lot more lax in 2003.
Well, you know, that's famously untrue. Well, and how did Ezekiel not track her on all the cameras?
Reasons. Anyway, while she was gone, she left the girls with Ben Parker and his very pregnant sister-in-law, Mary Parker.
She's pregnant with the whole reason we're making these movies.
She sure is, but then Mary goes into very premature labor, so they all have to go to the hospital, including the girls.
I mean, why do the girls need to go too?
So the rest of the movie can happen.
Okay.
So Cassie gets back from Peru and has to go help
I didn't realize it was this bad.
Cab.
Wow, well, I mean, this guy's basically evil Spider-Man, and she could just kind of see the future a little bit sometime. It's going to be tough to fight him.
Actually, it's going to be super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Oh, really?
Yeah, see, now she steals an ambulance and crashes that through a wall into him.
So her powers are seeing the future and then also Grand Theft Auto.
And attempted vehicular homicide with said thefted auto, yep.
Very cool. Didn't somebody probably need that ambulance, though?
I don't care, so then there's going to be a big final fight.
None of the characters are capable of fighting him, though, right?
That is correct, and there are no more stolen cars in play, so they lure him into a firework factory and set it all up to explode.
I saw that in a cartoon once.
Same here. So Cassie uses her vision powers to help them dodge Ezekiel's attacks, and then also she can be in multiple places at once now.
Oh, she can?
Yeah, the guy back in the jungle told her when you take on responsibility, great power will come.
Oh, that's kind of like the famous line.
Yeah, exactly, but not as good, and that unlocked powers for some reason.
Sick.
And then I figured this is the perfect opportunity for some product placement for your partner, Pepsi. movie.
What, in the middle of a weird firework fight?
Yeah, see, I figure a giant neon Pepsi sign falls on the bad guy and he dies.
Oh.
Just a giant S falling on him, a giant P.
Getting a giant P on you is tight.
And so that's the end of the voiceover bad guy. But then Cassie falls into some water and gets a firework in the face.
Oh.
So it's time for the girls to do some CPR and save her life.
Oh, from the two shadowing.
Yeah, now she's totally fine, except she's blind and in a wheelchair forever.
What, from a firework?
Yeah, but she's perfectly happy. She cracks a little joke about Ben thinking that being an uncle is like all fun and no responsibility, but she knows what's coming.
She knows that
What
he
the
and Peter's parents
fuck?
are gonna die, and instead of saving them, she's joking about it?
Yeah, really funny stuff. And then we're all just gonna tease a
Oh my
future where
God.
Madam Web and those 3 Spider Women fight crime together or something.
Yeah, how are they gonna get powers?
Unclear, but won't it be fun to see them all in a future movie together?
Maybe. I don't know these people.
Very fun. So what do you think?
Hey, listen, you plop some Spider-Man related stuff onto film and you've got yourself a movie, I think. I don't really know what superhero fans like.
Let's hope it's this.
Wow.
Hi, everybody. Ryan George here. Thank you for watching that.
Wow. I didn't even realize it was that bad. That is some crazy, horrible, what were they thinking kind of shit. Like, usually I think his job is to try to find a humorous way to tackle problems that the movies have had. But it almost seems like in this example, it was like everything is bad. So how do we pick the worst parts in order to make like an entertaining YouTube video? Like, dude, literally, it seems like the movie was so bad that I almost couldn't enjoy this video. Like, it was like that bad. Like, whew, holy shit. That's crazy. Okay, let me see a thing here.
That pitch meeting.
Let me see a thing here. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do Q&A. We're gonna do Q&A, and then we're gonna get out of here. And I know we said that we're gonna do the GameStop gift card, but we're pushing that to Wednesday because I'm starving, and I did not expect this stream to take over 3 hours, and I'm super hungry. The Screen Crush thing, if we do the Screen Crush thing, I'm going to be here for a whole nother hour. Paul's video, that's a whole nother hour. I can't do it. Food is good. You should get some, Josh. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm real hungry. I'm hungry. Look, it's right here. It's not like I'm going to spend it. Let me just make sure something here. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah. Just eat and stream? Eat on stream? I haven't mastered this. I want to get out here and eat some yummy food, and then there's a bunch of other stuff I got to do today. Yeah. Anyone know if Marvel Midnight Suns game is worth the buy? I thought it was fun. It's like half of a game that I really like and half of a game that I'm like, what is this? Because you have to like socialize and like do weird stuff to even get some of the like upgrades and whatnot. But the actual like combat is dope. Like the XCOM type shit. It's really good. Why does my music keep dying like that? I don't understand, guys. I don't understand. Okay, let's get into the Q&A here. Jose says, new badge, let's go. When are the dolls going to be ready for purchase? I don't know what dolls you're talking about, but you're probably talking about the stuff for Unity. Look, unfortunately, I don't think we'll have those ready for the Second Chance Kickstarter. It's just, we're not going to be ready. The Kickstarter itself will be ready this week, but the figures and the statue, I still need more time to figure that out. So, yeah, we'll have that later on. Jedi John says, Nerdvengers, let's go. 31 months ready for Dune. Oh, hell yeah, man. I'm excited for Dune as well. Vince Barter says, as someone that manages several high-level online stores, I know your pain. Entrepreneurship can be very tough emotionally, despite what TikTok tells you. Yeah, for sure. Look, I'm feeling good. I thought the rest was good. Have a busy week, a lot of stuff to do. But, yeah, no, it is. It is tough, man. I mean, it's definitely easier in a lot of ways than other things, but it definitely comes with its own challenges here. Ben says with a 10 spot, love the channel, brother. Appreciate the content as always. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Chillin' in the basement says, you ever do a stream and forget to talk about what's on the thumbnail? 2 hours, 40 minutes, Saturday night, and I never talked about the thumbnail. Nerd Vengeance for life, take my money. Yeah, no, I think I've done that before. And even today, we didn't really get into the tier list for about an hour. But, yeah, no, I've been there. Jay Robbins says, love you, Josh. You make such a positive impact on us Nerd Vengers. You're about to get a Diamond Lounge song from the maker of Hype for Ahsoka. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. And I like that Ahsoka song. I remember the night we played that for the watch party. It was really cool. People liked it. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Justin, again, welcome back to the Nerd Vengers. Colin Newby. Welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now. Hunting Dude says, glad you've been liking Helldivers. It's been so dope having everyone fight together for democracy. Hope you had a chill weekend, fam. Much love, Nerd Vengers for life. I did. And I played a lot of Helldivers. I spread a lot of democracy this weekend. It was really good. Rosie says, have you watched The Bad Batch yet? We need your review for the first 3. And I'm definitely not going to buy a Secret Lab chair, says Rosie. Wait, what? I think I'm missing something there. But yeah, we did talk about it a little bit. I liked the first 3 episodes of Bad Batch. So, yeah, I like it. I'm excited for more. When does it drop? Wednesdays? That'd be cool. Dr. Cool says, Avatar didn't suck. You know what's funny? A lot of divided opinions on that Avatar show. What do you guys think? Have you guys watched the Avatar live action? And did you like it? What do you think? Because I think we watched like 2.5 episodes. I really liked the first episode. But then after the second episode, I was like, man, they're just going too fast. Like they're just flying through some important stuff. It seems really divided. Like about 50% of the audience seems to hate it. And about 50% of the audience really liked it. There's some good stuff here. But I just don't know. Like, I don't even know if we're going to finish it. It's weird that a show can be, like, that well produced, have that good visual effects, and yet still be considered by a lot of people, like, mid or, like, people don't want to finish it. What a weird time in entertainment. I feel like if this show came out, like, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it would be like massive. You know what I mean? Interesting. Not as divided as Rings of Power. Well, Rings of Power is not divided at all. I would say the vast majority of the people that watched that show did not like it. I think statistically speaking, only 30% of people that started that show finished it. I think Rings of Power is pretty widely considered to be a big steaming pile of crap. So it's not really divided, you know? Let's see here. Rosie says, I liked it. People are pissed because it ties to the sequels. Yeah, I saw that. But I mean, that's what it's going to do. Like, you know, that's what we got. Griff. Oh, yeah, we answered this earlier. But the animation question, I think it's a little bit of culture. I think it's a little bit of an age thing. And I also think it's changing. So I think more and more folks will be willing to give animation a try. Michael, the Nobody Phantom, says, I think Dune should do trilogies. After this, they could do a trilogy in the far past or far future with different people. Prob is source material buffs. Yeah, I'd like that too. I would definitely like to see more stuff in the future for sure. But yeah, it's a big universe. A lot of stuff happens, and yeah, we'll see what they do. I didn't know about this show, but having the Bene Gesserit or whatever, that could be really interesting. That could be cool. Chillin says, I didn't read it as Omega has a high M count. I read it as her genetics allow an M count to fully transfer instead of degrading. Nerd Vengeance for life, take my money. Yeah, I agree with that, but I still wonder why. Like, I still wonder why. And wasn't it the case that... So, Nala Se knew this already about Omega, right? Because if you think about it, she already told her she was special, but then on top of that, she's hiding the blood samples. Do you know what I mean? So Nala Se already knew that was something special about her. Interesting, right? I wonder why or how. Like, how did that happen? You gonna watch the new Walking Dead with Andrea Lincoln? I don't think so. I'm not that big of a fan of her work, you know? What are you more excited about, the X-Men 97 or Fantastic Four? Probably X-Men 97, but the Fantastic Four rumors do seem really cool, and I think they're making some good changes to that script, so could be cool. Omega. Okay, Logan says, how close is Andor to real Star Wars to you? They could have added a few villains or a few aliens to change the story a bit, and it would have been much better. This is a tough one. So it's not the setting. It's not even the plot. It is... It's honestly just the sort of style, right? So Star Wars is mystical, and it also has a real, like, serialized adventure vibe. I think one of the you want to know what the real thing to fix Andor? This is going to sound so funny to you, but it's actually true. You know how in the Clone Wars, every episode starts with the galactic something something, blah, 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 the Jedi are trying to blah, 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 blah. That might seem like this kind of insignificant framing device, but it's not. It's actually very useful. It reminds you that you're in this serialized sort of Buck Rogers adventure. If every episode of Andor started with something like that, it would be a little bit closer. But honestly, you would have to completely rethink that show. Because it is not a mystical adventure. It's like an Aaron Sorkin style kind of character study of characters that just happen to exist in the Star Wars universe. So, that's not Star Wars. Corey says, hey Josh, hope everything is going fantastic. Seeing Dune 2 this weekend and cannot wait. What did you think of Ultimate Spider-Man 2? I thought it was good. It is a second issue, and often second issues can kind of be a letdown from one, and I felt that a little bit. It's like just kind of slowly moving us along, but it was cool. I like what they're setting up. So Ultimate Spider-Man was cool. Not as cool as number one, but still cool. Rosie says, do you think they will use smoke in a big capacity? Do you mean Snoke from Star Wars? Yeah, I'm not really sure about that. Do you guys think they're going to have it? Do you think they'll have Snoke in fucking Bad Batch? Snoke. You know what I'd love to ask them? Like, if I could just sit down with Dave, right? I'd be like, Dave, can you, like, explain Snoke? Like, what's the deal with Snoke? Because I know they did some development in the comics. I know there's been some development in some novels. But, like, how the fuck does this character fit into everything? And especially when Leia says, no, it was Snoke, and she's talking about all that sort of stuff. I still don't even understand how he fits contextually with everything else that's going on. So, yeah, I don't know. Who's my favorite lesser-known villain? I'll give you a great one. My favorite lesser-known Marvel villain is Gorgon. Anybody know Gorgon? Anybody? Gorgon? Cool character, man. Real cool. Barack Obama? No. Talking about Gorgon. He's a villain that worked with the hand. He's a telepath. He could turn people to stone by looking at them. He's super strong. He's a samurai. Yeah. Gorgon's cool. Yeah. Vagabond says Green Goblin is S because he killed silly Aunt May. What? You don't say that. Rayumbo says, dog, I promise you more people know Goblin than Doom or anyone else on this list. If you're going off merch, none of these villains have any. That's not true. I've got so much Magneto stuff. So much Magneto merch. Dirty, who won the gift card? Not you. Cyber Coastal says, MF Doom helps. Doom is hella recognizable. Yeah, Doom is super recognizable. I agree. And I guess MF Doom probably helped it along. Yeah. The Dixon Way says, Doom, Magneto, Thanos are the only true S tiers. Loki is only S tier for the MCU, and because he turned into a hero. Talk true villains, and that's it. I can see what you're saying there. I get the point. Andre says, another month bites the dust. Where are them 40-plus OG flexin' mother truckers? Much love to you all. Yeah, that is crazy. 34 months. That's a long time, man. I appreciate the support. Sir Switch says, most people know of Doom, but nothing about him, his history, or his impact. Loki is C tier before the MCU, and Thanos is Z list before MCU. The tier list equal mid tier. Hey, you don't say that! I get your point. But you don't say that. Anakin Stark with 10 spot. Appreciate you. Was supposed to be in a lunch. And now you're watching the stream. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Vandolph says, list perfect so far, but you robbed the gob. Name a more iconic nemesis to Spider-Man. Venom. S-tier hero needs S-tier villain. He shaped his life personally through comics and video games and franchises. S. I gotta say, this is probably the most shocking thing was how into Green Goblin you guys were. You guys were all about Green Goblin. I like Green Goblin. But holy shit. Holy shit. Hunter, again, thanks, man. Your parents wouldn't let you watch X-Men because of Mystique. I had to convince Grandma to rent it for me and got grounded. S tier, much love. Hell yeah. Rosie says, I don't consider Venom a straight-up hero, more of an anti-hero. That's fair, but he's had to... I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think Venom is more of an anti-hero? Flash Thompson Venom definitely was. But, like, here's the thing. When Venom pops up in a video game, he's a villain. Right? You see Venom pop up in a comic, he's probably going to be a villain. I think he's a villain. I think the Sony-verse has kind of made us think anti-hero. Flash Thompson was definitely an anti-hero. And he was Venom was an anti-hero. Venom's like almost a straight up hero during the events of Black Knight. And with Null and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, Lethal Protector. I see it. I get what you're saying. Will Parker, again, hit me up, man. Met Venom is more of an anti-hero than villain now. That's true. Doc Ock is A-list because Green Goblin is S. There's something established much longer than Venom. People who don't even watch these movies knew him before Venom. I feel like taking Green Goblin around, like just the comic book version of Green Goblin, and going around and seeing how many people recognize him. And I'm going to record everybody being like, I don't know who that is. Oh, yeah, King in Black. My bad. And then I'm going to bring that back just so Vandolph can see it. Space or Star Wars Oddball. Again, I appreciate it, man. Let's spread that freedom. Ace says, Josh, how do you feel about Cavill's Cyclops? Yeah, somebody else brought that up, and hell yeah, dude, I love that. Make him Cyclops. The Exodus says, Venom's an S-tier character, not an S-tier villain. Okay, fine. Yeah, no, I hear you. Will Parker, welcome back to the Nerd Ventures. Or wait a minute, no, it's you. But wait, why'd you have to get a new thing? I don't understand, but welcome. Will Parker, welcome to the Nerd Ventures. Leonard says, love Null and Mephisto. They are D tier at this point. Hela has been in more media, so S tier is correct for her. Those two have potential. Ooh, I like that. We should have talked about potential, because I think Null definitely has it. Mojat, welcome to the Nerd Ventures. Welcome back. Carnage is S tier. I will never forgive you, says Dar Boyd. Appreciate you, bro. Chillin says, was that or was that not Cad Bane in episode 3? Nerd Ventures for life. Take my money. Wait, what? Is Cad Bane in that episode? What are you talking about? What part are you talking about? Of episode 3 of the Bad Batch? He didn't read my Nerd Venture for Life? Oh, no. Yeah, he says Nerd Venture for Life. Old man moment? You're an old man. When is the second Unity Kickstarter? It's going to drop this Friday. It's going to drop this Friday. Where is Moon Knight on a hero ranking? Pretty low. Pretty low, unfortunately. Why the fuck does this keep happening? I don't understand. Huh. I don't understand. Come on. That's really annoying. The music keeps cutting out. Like the site keeps breaking, basically. Okay, guys, I'm going to get on out of here. Here's the thing. I'm glad we did a long stream. Almost 4 hours. I'll chill for like 5 more minutes if there's anything else you want to say. But I am starving. I am starving. Bro, you're still going? Man, I dipped out because I'm at work a few hours ago. Now I'm on lunch. Didn't expect to see you still talking. Yeah, no, I wanted to do I missed 2 Fridays in a row. So I really wanted to do a longer stream. I had a second soupy. Let me see here. Wait, really? You had a second soupy? It didn't pop up. Let me, I'm going to try to reset. Oh, okay. Yeah, for some reason that didn't pop up. It says, can we see details about being more 90s than 2000s? Sony can't manage without Feige. Stand alone. They are incompetent. Can we see details about being more 90s than 2000s? Sony can't manage without Feige. Ah, so you mean when he was helping work on the old, like, Raimi stuff versus what they did without him. That's interesting. Yeah, I could see that. Oh, we can see. Gotcha. And then Rosie says, isn't one reason McFarlane left Marvel is that they made Venom an anti-hero? Todd wanted him straight up evil. I thought I saw a documentary. I'm actually not super familiar with that, but that would make sense, yeah. That would make sense, yeah. I can see that. He had to stream during the stream. Yes, I did. Josh, if they can fire Majors and Carano for the way they make the company look, can they sue Sony for Spider-Man rights because of how bad they're affecting profits and making Marvel look bad? That would be so cool. I know Ryan Airy recently made a video about that. We were going to watch that today. I did not expect the tier list to take that long, so I apologize. Maybe we'll watch it tomorrow or Wednesday. But, yeah, that would be great. I don't necessarily think they really have a case, but it's something fun to kind of think about. You know? No, Madam Web is supposed to be in the 90s, but changed. Yeah, they changed that quite a bit. They kind of just removed... the rumor is apparently they were going to connect it to Andrew. I think they were probably going to do Toby first. At some point, they were going to connect it to Andrew. Then they were going to connect it to Tom Holland. And then they were like, we fucked this all up. Take out all the Spider-Man shit. And we're connected to nothing. So... Marvel hates Spider-Man. Now, move on. You don't say that. Dude, I didn't know he did a video on it. Now I got to go watch it when you sign off. Oh, hell yeah. Josh, do it in the street segment. We absolutely should. We absolutely should. I think that's a great idea. For sure. For sure. Okay, guys, I got to get out of here. I'm starving, man. Charlie says, can we upgrade our 50 to 200 in the second chance Kickstarter? Unity! Okay, here's the thing. First of all, I really appreciate the question, and I really appreciate the support. But there's not going to be a collector tier in the second chance Kickstarter. Okay? I know that sounds crazy. But the people that backed the first Kickstarter at the $200 level, they became collectors. They basically have voting power. Yeah. So we voted. And I said to the collectors, I said, look, originally we were going to have 300 collectors. Do you guys want us to put because there's about half of them. There's like 150 more. And they voted no. So we might think about that later. Maybe for volume 2, maybe we do open up another 150 of it. But basically, guys, like the people that spent $200 for the first Kickstarter, I mean, I don't know how else to say it. They made the shit happen. So they will now have the rarest version of the book. They will now have voting rights and behind the scenes access that nobody else will have. And they voted so that's not going to change. Now, we might open that up at some point. And there's going to be a lot of fun stuff in the second chance Kickstarter, but there's not going to be collector tiers. You know what I mean? So I'll talk more about that later, but yeah, no, those people kind of, I mean, they basically made it happen. So they kind of get, they literally paid for the right to be like, no, let's just keep it to us. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we'll talk more about that later because there's a lot of fun stuff coming with Unity for sure. All right, everybody. Yeah. Okay, guys, I got to get out of here. My brain is not working well because I need food. Okay. Much love. Remember, as I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video. I'd be cool with a silver cover for the second round. We'll talk about it later. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Oh man, it was a good one, but my blood sugar, bro. Oh boy. Yeah, that's all right. Hey, good stream. Nice and girthy, nice and lengthy. But holy shit, I need to go eat some food. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. Remember, open up your third eye and wash out. You're stinky. But, hey!